What are we calling the show this year?
This is the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
Patriots Chinwag, Patriots Before the Game Show.
Jones, he's throwing it toward Thornton, left corner of the end zone, caught, touchdown New England.
Hey, it's the Patriots.
The Patriots Pregame Show is your source for all the latest news and information before every game.
He took it to the house again.
Here we
the
go.
Patriots take the lead.
With Hardy,
No, whatever. This energy, keep it going.
Mike Dussault,
What does it mean, Gus Picker? He just comes out, and who do you think is going to win the
Do
game?
you
Guy?
not watch anything except for the Patriots?
It's not the college football.
Paul Perillo,
As Tamara would say to me, I can't even on that one.
and Tamara Brown.
Way better considering I had to set an alarm to wake up by 1 p.m.
That's insane.
Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
I can't wait. Welcome in. Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. Hardy, Mike Dussault, Tamara Brown, and, of course, Paul Perillo.
Of course.
What? Hold on 1 second. What was that?
He's pumped up.
Was that an Arsenio?
Who's the dog pound?
Wow.
No, I was giving you deuces. I'm out.
Oh, okay.
I'm tired.
Deuce.
Tired. I'm tired.
So we got a big game here today.
Big game.
Kids, come on. We got Chiefs. We got Pats. They're coming off a big win against the Steelers. Feels like 3 weeks ago.
Does.
Hardy, you blew the lead. You blew the lead.
What lead did I blow?
Taylor Swift.
Oh, buried the lead is
blew it.
the parlance you're looking for.
Yeah.
All right.
Blew it, buried it. You know, that's why it's a big game. Taylor Swift. Travis Kelce.
Okay. I'll talk as much Taylor Swift as you want. I will not be able to add a lot. I heard on Patriots Unfiltered on Thursday you guys were recapping some kind of thing you did where everybody had to come up with a Taylor Swift song or a lyric
Oh,
or
Evan
something.
was doing it like
Oh, yeah.
bang, bang.
No,
Yeah,
Evan's
It was
good at it.
going right over my head. I didn't even know the songs.
I would just like to say, you know how everyone has like Spotify Wrapped, Apple Music Wrapped, kind of recapping your music for the year?
Yeah, I don't do that.
Taylor Swift was like top of his list.
Yeah,
I'm calling him out.
Lazar.
I think I was with Fred in that I could only name Shake It Off, and then a couple of you named a couple other songs like Bad Luck. I'm like, okay.
Bad Blood.
Bad Blood, Bad Luck. That's
Luck.
that's a Mike Ness song.
Blood.
Yeah.
But so I did.
You don't play Taylor Swift on your music show?
No.
Do you talk about Taylor Swift on the music show?
No, I talk about it on the sports show. Unfortunately,
What has happened to me?
it's
Really? 4 more of these, huh?
I do find it odd though that there are people who are like huge Taylor Swift fans. Like Paul, you and I were fans of Prince when we were
Yeah,
when we
I would
were
say that's accurate.
kids, you know,
Yeah.
or you're a fan of like, you know, Springsteen, or you're a fan of, you know, X artist. There's the Taylor Swift thing. It just, to me, it doesn't inspire a lot of passion. But I'm not a one of the Utes that are listening to it right now.
Allegedly, this was her favorite place to play.
Oh God! But artists never say that. You know,
the only difference
about
is it
about
was
a
the
certain
first.
venue or city.
It was the first stadium that she ever played, and she tells the story. I don't know if it's true, but she tells the story that no one thought she could sell out a stadium, and Gillette Stadium gave her the opportunity to do it.
Yeah. My favorite thing.
I don't know if it's true. I'm just listen, I work here.
The massive
I
marketing.
work for Patriots.com. These are the things that we push.
The massive marketing machine that is Taylor Swift should have had no doubts about her ability to sell out a stadium at that time or any other time. You know what? That's the only thing I really find distasteful about Taylor, even though I don't feel like I feel like the marketing of Taylor Swift is as, if not more important than the actual like artistry that she produces.
Yeah.
It's as much or more about the marketing.
I would agree with
and the selling of it and that stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. Why would I be passionate about that? Like, oh my God, she re-released that album. I'm like, oh, so she went back and re-recorded a bunch of stuff
so
she already
she's got her
did?
masters
Yeah,
back.
because she's really smart. That's because she wants to own the masters. I'm like, what do I care? Why would I possibly care? Is it good? Are the songs any different? What do I care? Do I care? Should I care? I don't care.
It's got soundbite written all over it. My favorite was this.
Starting to get the
was
impression
this,
that he doesn't care.
Well, Tamara cares.
I care.
Deeply. Are you a big fan?
I'm not.
Are you really not?
I mean, I
She
think
just likes Law and Order.
I respect.
Yeah,
her.
that's true.
Yes, I mean.
No,
wait,
Mariska.
Yeah. Oh.
That's fair.
I just
I feel like I think I respect her talent and her ability. I'm kind of like Zappy, where everyone kind of grilled him earlier this week, where he's like, I'm not a fan. She's great, talented, but she's not at top of my list on my Spotify Wrapped, my Apple Music Wrapped, whatever.
Yeah. I got to read this, though. This was my favorite thing from the week was the Entertainment Tonight tweet that said, Travis Kelce was noticeably absent.
Oh, that was great.
During Taylor Swift's 34th birthday celebration. A source tells E.T. that he, quote, remains committed to playing his best and doing his best on and off the field. The team practices are critical, mandatory to attend, and something he takes very seriously.
Can you imagine this was actually
so it's no
put out?
surprise. I mean, like, you had to, like, quell Swift Nation, like, all the Swifties were like, he wouldn't go to Taylor's birthday?
Yeah, because you
Like
can't
Bo
bang out
Callahan. No one went to her birthday party.
Yeah. You can't bang out a Thursday practice before a Sunday away game? Oh, my God, really?
It's amazing to me that was even put into the ether.
Right. It's like, of course he's not there. Why would anyone question why he's not there? You got a game.
Because I think they're all getting introduced to the world of football.
Yeah.
And it's like, so they have to go to every practice? Like, they can't just
So
take one off?
I got a little introduction to the whole world on my Wednesday appearance on Sunshine with Mike and Tony. And they were like, okay, we have a high-ranking member of the organization here. Let's find out if Taylor Swift is going to be at the game. You know, it was sure tongue-in-cheek, joking around. And I had said that I had heard that she had inquired about a luxury suite for the Monday night game. But when the game had changed, we hadn't really heard anything. And then someone else had told me that they expected her to be there. We just had some fun with it. We're joking around. The next morning, I wake up and I'm like, quoted.
Yeah.
Perillo.
Everywhere.
Colin.
Like,
Yeah.
Perillo expects Taylor Swift to be like,
Whoops.
That's Paul's new role. He's covering Taylor Swift now as well for the organization.
So that was my introduction to that sort of what you were talking about, this push.
This monster.
Marketing.
Did you get a bunch of new like follers, like girls in their teens and 20s after that?
I don't know. Like, I don't really, you know me with Twitter. Like, it's not my thing.
Yeah, me neither.
I couldn't tell you how many followers I have.
Well, the initial reports were that when the game got moved to a 1 o'clock on Sunday, Taylor wasn't going to go because, like Tamara, she doesn't get up until about 1 o'clock. So she wasn't going to be able to make it to the stadium.
I don't have a lot of followers.
Can you not hate on people who need beauty sleep? Like, you know?
Oh, you
I
don't.
need my sleep.
Yeah,
so that I can
you
look
don't.
beautiful.
You don't need it. See, I turned it into
you
there
took
you
a
go.
negative and turned it right
Oh
into
my
a positive.
God.
It's really nice,
I
wasn't
see.
it? Really charming.
Oh,
Should we do the keys to the game?
we should.
Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to. You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now, just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Hardy, Paul, Mike, and Tamara's keys to the game.
Why did I steal your key to the game also?
Keys to the game. Without these keys, Patriots doomed, destined to fail. That's why they're listening in the locker room right now. Paul Perillo, the current key holder.
There it is. The presentation of the key music.
Somebody
It's the perfect amount of too
Somebody
short.
went into the library and searched Stinger fanfare.
Wait, did
fanfare.
Yeah,
Did
but it's a
Paul win
stinger
the key last
too.
week?
Did you edit
Yeah,
that
I don't
yourself?
I,
That's
no,
a Stinger
I did.
fanfare. That's
I
excellent.
was the key holder last week.
I don't know.
Okay.
I was.
All right, take it.
No.
All right, leave it in the middle then.
Okay.
What did you? Do you have it from the Pittsburgh game? Mm-hmm. Okay, give it the ticket.
Play the fanfare, please.
That all that means is you have to go first and present your key. So let's
Okay.
have it.
Did we already play the song and everything? I missed it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
We did the whole song. We did
I
the.
missed
Can
it.
we do the fanfare one more time, please?
Oh, that's why I missed it. We changed the music.
No, we
No,
did
the-
that. We
The
did that.
intro already had played.
This is one
See,
of my
this is
favorite
what
shows
this
ever.
is what
here.
happens when I don't get to sleep until 1 p.m. I can't do it.
God.
Okay, well, keeping it on the Taylor Swift, my key is shake it off. The Patriots cannot come into this game still riding high on that Steelers victory. This is a new week, and this is the Chiefs. And I know that the Chiefs are coming off more losses than they've probably had as of late, but I think this is a team that they need to stay focused and locked in on, not stay focused on the fact that they've lost. Their receivers are dropping balls. Mahomes is mad. That all has to be left in last week, and this is a new week, and I think the Chiefs are going to come in focus. So Patriots have to shake all that off. This is a new game, and hopefully they have a good game plan for them.
Here's why I don't like or respect your key.
Okay.
I feel that you would have used that same key had they lost to Pittsburgh.
No,
And
I
you would
wouldn't.
have
I
said,
would have picked a different Taylor Swift song.
You got to shake off the loss and
No,
then come in here. And
I would have used a different Taylor Swift song.
You
Well, shake off the
decided
whole
on
season.
you decided on the key weeks ago.
No, I
for the
didn't.
Taylor Swift game, and you just like, I'll just make it fit.
I would have picked a different song.
No,
You're a hater.
All right.
I do. I hate your key.
No.
You're a hater.
It's a bad key.
Shake it off.
It's a bad key.
Shake it off.
Poisoning the chalice.
Who do you want to go next?
Paul.
Paul, your key.
Well, I also now feel like I'm hackneyed and cliche because I used a Taylor Swift song.
part of
Take
the
away
assignment?
Kelsey's blank space. Get it? See what I did there?
Uh-huh.
Blank space. I think that's really all Kansas City has on offense to be concerned about in terms of the weapons that Mahomes is trying to use. I think most teams have done a good job of taking him away, especially lately. He looks banged up to me, Kelsey. He doesn't look like he's 100%. So I just think that it's the age-old thing for Belichick. Do what you can to limit the other team's best option and make Mahomes go to the other guys that he clearly has no use for. The Kadarius Tonys and Marquez Valdez-Scantlings of the world. He has no use for these guys. Make those guys beat you and make sure that you do not just allow Travis Kelce to run free in those zones.
I like that.
So you
I
like
like
his?
that.
You like his even though he
No,
used a Taylor Swift
I like
song?
it because it has an actual, like football component to it. And I do not like it for using the Taylor Swift thing. I think that is the most overused, cliched
God.
writing tool of the last several months. Like everybody was writing articles now that even there was a letter from the principal of one school, like telling all the kids to make sure they showed up for class the next day after a Taylor Swift concert. And in that email, like used a bunch of Taylor Swift titles. I'm like, okay.
Most
all
of
right,
them would
I
have
get
gone
it.
over my head. Evan was like hitting me with songs the other day. I was like,
Yeah.
I've never heard that
It's like he's
song.
speaking a different language.
But, I mean, I do think that's probably the most important key to today's game is take away Travis Kelce. You're not going to be able to limit Mahomes entirely. You can't. But Kelce, because of – I do think he's dealing with something, and I think that's probably the biggest key to the game. Take away Kelce as much as you can. So I think Tamara –
You just hate me.
no, I hate your key. I love you. I hate your key this week.
They
That's
can't
all.
think that just because they beat the Steelers, that they can beat the Chiefs. I'm sorry.
What do you think, Deuce?
Is this and I asked for my key, or are you asking me to comment on Tamara's?
No, I just want your key.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, we got a guest coming in studio. So
boy, we got to hurry. So yeah, I did the T Swift thing too. So let's just get the last one out of the way. Play like the last great American football dynasty. Kind of retrograded this one in, if that makes sense. Like, where you think of the thing and you're like, all right, what am I going to make it mean? So I think the Chiefs are, maybe trying to be the next dynasty, the Patriots.
It's so much worse than Tamara's. I mean, like, as much as I hate yours, now I kind of hate you.
Wait. I would just like to say at this point, though, you're outnumbered. You have 3 people doing a Taylor Swift thing. And then
what does
you're
that
just
tell
being-
you?
You're a hater.
sheep.
That tells you you're a hater.
Why don't you go get vaccinated while you're at it?
Oh, my God. You're a hater. You are a hater.
Why don't you go land on the moon, too?
I can't.
Oh, boy.
You're just mad that you're not a part of this.
I'm not, because here's what I think is going on with this team. And we've had conflicting reports all week about whether or not ownership made up their mind about. And by the way, when I put my key in the text chain, Deuce gave it a ha-ha.
Ha-ha.
Like, what is it? What are you laughing at? There's nothing funny about my key. The reports this week, or at least a little story told by Tommy Curran was that, the ownership made up their mind after the Germany game. And now, who is it, Schefter last night, or Rappaport.
Right.
Saying
So
like,
now
oh,
what
no,
does yours mean?
wait a
It
minute,
means the
they're-
other thing now.
wait.
So
I
don't-
believe Tommy Curran.
Yeah.
I believe the stories
totally.
after Germany. That was terrible for the organization. I believe they said, okay, we're done with this now. And I believe a little bit based on what happened in Pittsburgh that there's just that tiny kernel of doubt after they made up their mind. They haven't changed their mind just because they beat Pittsburgh. But wait a second. Are you telling me if we all believe that a decision pretty much has been made on the Bill Belichick front for 2024. Do you believe that, Tamara?
I do, and it
Okay.
made me hard to believe this new, whatever the rap sheet,
Right.
whatever his name is, whoever. That just seemed weird because that's the same person who put out the report that Bill Belichick has a lucrative extension. No, he doesn't.
No,
like,
no, forget
So
that.
that's why I'm like, I feel like someone else told him to put that out,
Okay.
Just the same way they told him to put out the thing about Bill Belichick's extension.
Yeah. Well, let me
it's just weird.
finish my key here because this all leads into it. So you
Okay.
believe they made the decision?
Yeah.
Deuce, you believe that they made up their mind?
Not
Pretty much.
100%, but
100
mostly.
Yeah. Paul?
Yeah, I
Okay,
believe,
me
I
too.
believe they've made the decision. Now, that doesn't mean they won't change their minds.
My key to the game is make them change their minds, starting with a win today against the Kansas City Chiefs. Continue it next week in a primetime Christmas Eve game in Denver. Do it again. Beat the Bills again. And whatever happens in Week 18 against the Jets, are you telling me that ownership, who has, for the most part, made up their minds, if you finish with 4 wins in a row against Steelers on the road, at home against the Chiefs, a primetime game, and then another win over the Bills, they don't change their minds? I might. I think I would. I think I would look at if they play well and they look like they found something, I make them change their minds. And this is more of a key to Bill than anyone else.
Well,
so that's my key.
I like yours, Hardy, and I think it's probably the road that we're going down for the show when we're actually get away from the Swift stuff and we actually talk about the football game. What does it look like? How do they win these games? Does Bailey Zappi start to look good and put full games together, and then you're starting to wonder,
Right.
or
does it look like it did last Thursday?
Up and down and right. The
you
same
know, a
thread
terrible
of the
team
season.
that's obviously lying down and looked much worse yesterday in their game than they did against the Patriots.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But these are all tough places to play too. Like in Denver, in Buffalo. I mean, it's a daunting challenge in these games. I doubt they're going to win all 3, but I am very curious what they're going to look like. Starting today with Zappi.
let's see what Kendall in North Carolina thinks and who shall be the current key holder for this week based on the keys. Kendall, you can pick anyone here on the show, picked a Taylor Swift song and basically did the same thing. Or you can pick mine about making them change their minds and not move on
Really
from Bill Belichick. What do you think, Kendall? Did you hear them all?
A lot of pressure.
I heard a couple of them.
Well,
Well,
Paul's was take away Kelsey's blank space. Mike said, play like the I don't even know.
Last great American
It's
football
not
dynasty.
Mike's not going to win the key.
It's a deep dive.
Tamara, shake it off, or me, make them change their minds. Who's got the best key to the game?
I like what Paul said.
I like what Paul said too. Good.
I
Give him the
think we
key.
can just retire this crap at this point.
Give him the key.
I mean,
Give him the
Hey,
key.
how y'all doing this? Y'all doing all right this morning?
Hi.
Yeah,
thanks,
we're doing
Kendall.
good.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I like listening to y'all, man. Quick question. I know Kraft said he wants to get back to the playoffs. He's been saying it the past couple of years. So if we do let Bill go and we reset next year, I mean, is there an does he want to get to the playoffs next year, or is this like a 3-year rebuild or something like that? Because I mean,
Oh boy.
The
that's
bar,
where I'm kind of confused with the team.
the bar keeps getting moved.
well, yeah, I think if
Right.
you're, yeah, it's a good point, Kendall, because if you move on from Bill, and especially if you end up taking a quarterback, then you are resetting it. You know, you can't say, well, no, I said last year we need to be in the playoffs. Well, clearly you're changing course now.
Yep.
Last year, the direction we were going, we failed, and we need to chart a different course. And I think you get more time for that.
Does that make sense to you, Kendall?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does.
Yeah.
Just,
All right. Well,
I was just confused on it because, I mean, I know he said he's been wanting playoffs the last couple of years, but like
Right.
you just said, if you get a new quarterback, possibly a new coach, possibly new GM and all that next year, I don't know how the schedule looks for next year. I don't know if playoffs is realistic. I mean, if that's the case, you might well.
Yeah. New coach and a new quarterback, it probably wouldn't be realistic.
yeah, new goalposts, new expectations, new everything. Kendall, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
And if that happens, it's not like, oh, it's a 4-year rebuild. No, you're off in the wilderness now. You don't know how long this could possibly take. You're in uncharted territory. It's a whole new organization and operation.
And I just, and this is nitpicking, I admit, the whole notion that something can change based on what happens now, to me, is absolutely absurd. Like, I just don't understand. If you have like a first-year coach and it starts off really bad and then you sort of finish the season strong and you're pointing, that's one thing. You're at the stage where the Patriots are at with Belichick, and you have the risk of, 3-10, and now you're going to win some meaningless games at the end of the year, and that's going to change. Like, oh wait, we were close to no, you weren't. You didn't win games until the season was over. You were 2-10 at one point. Like, I don't really care what happens now. In terms of like Bill and the future. If you decide you want to hold on to Bill, that's fine. That's a decision you make, but that's a decision you should have in your mind now, not based on, well, we upset Kansas City, in week 14 or 15 or whatever it is. I don't get it.
We're gonna get back to that.
We'll keep our little petty squabbles to ourselves when we don't have guests.
There's some more meat on that bone, but no, we do have a guest from the Kansas City Star. It's Jesse Newell joining us here on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. Hi, Jesse.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hardy, Mike,
this is our
Tamara,
first in-studio guest of the year.
Look at that. Well,
we're very excited about that.
I'm glad somebody led me down the maze. I wouldn't have found it. It'd taken me 3 hours or so if not otherwise.
How are things going in Kansas City? What's the haps up there, over there, down there?
I was talking to you guys earlier this week. It feels like a safe space here because people, the expectations in Kansas City get crazy, but like New England kind of understands, right? You have a Hall of Fame coach, you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, and when you're in the midst of that, it's like, oh, you should win every game by 21 points, and that's not what the Chiefs are going through right now, obviously. The offense is struggling. It's not really – things just aren't quite right with the offense, but – they still sit at 8-5. Again, 30 other teams out there are thinking, what are your big complaints about? They have a puncher's chance in the AFC, obviously, and need to get back on track. The schedule lightens up. But right now, they're not winning the ways they normally do, which is the big thing is we're so used to Patrick Mahomes coming back and winning in fourth quarter games, having comebacks. They've had none of those this year, guys. And so that's different for this team. Usually you expected them to come through in the clutch. That really hasn't happened this year yet, and maybe it will happen moving forward.
That's kind of one of the things we were talking about this week. It reminds me a little bit of when the Patriots were like 2012, 2013, when their receiving core kind of turned over. Mm-hmm. He still had Gronk, but it was a process of finding Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola. Do you feel like that's kind of what's happening with them? They're doing kind of the same things. They're taking shots on former first-round picks that have been cast off. They're trying to find those guys, but does it still just come down to him and Kelsey?
Yeah, and what's fascinating is, like, if you look at their receivers, it's the same guys as last year, other than Juju. Juju's now with New England, obviously, and the Chiefs drafted Rashee Rice, who has been one of the most productive rookies that Andy Reid has had in his history of coaching. So you look, why are these things not working this year when they worked a year ago? And it's just been sort of, to use the term, kind of misconnections here. Like, Patrick Mahomes sees the game one way, and they always talk about, like, the dotted lines of the playbook, where you're supposed to run your route in this way with the playbook. Like, this is what the line says in the playbook. But when Patrick Mahomes sees a safety over the top, he's not going to throw it there. He's going to throw it away from the safety. So you have to have two guys reading this correctly. And too many times it's been MVS not on the same page, Justin Watson not on the same page. And that's just these deep passes. If you go to their deep pass numbers this year, they're horrendous. They cannot throw the ball deep. They just do not have that chemistry yet. And so it's interesting because last year they had it. Last year they were good enough to produce those big plays. But this year it's just been not there. And so what it forces them to do, which is what defenses want them to do, which is to score touchdowns. They've got to be good on 12, 13, 14 straight plays. You check it down, you get 7-8 yards at a time, but then they have a penalty. It's been a problem at right tackle with Jawan Taylor's had a bunch of penalties this year. It's been turnovers. We saw last week Mahomes throws an interception, Rashee Rice fumbles the ball. So they've just had these small things go against them, but they do have to drive the ball down the field now, and that's been a lot different than years past when Mahomes has loved to chuck that thing up.
Without having Isaiah Pacheco, is that, making it worse for Mahomes, not having the ability to be able to run the football to maybe relieve some pressure off of those wide receivers?
Yeah, and he's only been out a week, and I was bringing this earlier in the week. It's kind of fascinating with the Chiefs because they've gone 1-3 since their bye week, but over that time, if you look like expected points added, they have the number one rushing game in the NFL over the last 4 weeks and gone 1-3, which I think probably tells you what you need to know about passing in the NFL and how important it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we got the number one rush defense.
It's a pass team. It's a pass league.
Preach, Jesse, preach.
Yeah. So they just take a step back. Isaiah Pacheco is like an emotional lead for them. He's the guy that he runs like his hair's on fire. They kind of have the the memes out there where like he's angry at the ground when he's running. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's
playing all my hits.
He's fun to watch. I mean, he is fun to watch, and like he pops up and he acts like he didn't get tackled, and those linemen just get going for him. Honestly, though, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's been a backup role for them for the last couple of years, and he looked fine last week. I mean, he doesn't have that same explosion, but he'll see the holes, and he'll be fine for them. But the interior three have been blocking better. But this is all in the passing game, though, and that's what's so fascinating about the Chiefs is you would look at this and say, okay, the run game is not really helping out the pass game here, but they've been really successful running the ball. Now, it's an Andy Reid offense. They're going to throw more than they run, and they should throw more than they run. They have Patrick Mahomes. They have these other weapons, but it's just been so disjointed offensively on offense that even a really good run game, and we talk about those, I mean, you guys know Joe Tooney. He's playing really well. Creed Humphrey, their center, is playing really well. Trey Smith is playing really well. had some issues at tackle, but they've been getting okay play in the run game out of them. But those three, they've been doing really well recently, and the run game's been fine, but the Chiefs haven't been fine, and so that just tells you kind of how off the pass game has been.
So we've talked a lot about the offense and the struggles, but on the other side, is this defense as good as the numbers would indicate? I haven't seen a ton of the Chiefs this year, but the pass defense in particular looks like it's just been locked down all year. Has it been that good when you watch them week to week?
It's probably been the best of the Mahomes era, and that's why it's, I think, tough for fans back in Kansas City to process how they can win this way, because they're just so used to making up for an average to below average defense, because their offense just goes and scores. And that's why this year, their defense wins them games, and I think Kansas City fans are still not used to that being a possibility where they can win games. But the pass defense has been really good. Steve Spagnuolo has a lot of different parts. They have actually, if you guys look it up, the second youngest age of defenders in the league. So they've drafted really well. Almost all their guys, if you look up and down, the starters are guys they drafted last year. So Steve Spagnuolo, he loves to blitz. He loves to bring Trent McDuffie, who is emerging into an all-pro type of guy. L'Jarius Sneed's having a great year on the outside for them as a cornerback. Just locks down number one receivers whenever he goes against them. And I know Tony Romo on the broadcast said last week he would vote for him for all-pro that type of season. But there are some things in the pass game. Linebacker's been kind of like a revolving door. They got Nick Bolton back last week. He's kind of an emotional leader for them, but sometimes you can pick on him in coverage a little bit. But the Chiefs actually getting back Drew Tranquil this week. He's a guy that they got out of free agency from the Chargers. And
I love him.
He's been one of the best guys that they've had, and he's got range. He's better in pass coverage, and he took a knee to the side of the head against the Packers, so glad he's able to get back out there. But he's been a big key piece for them, and this is one of the few games this year, guys, that they've had all their linebackers available. So we might see something different for them. And you obviously got to worry about Chris Jones. I mean, at any point, at any time, he could be in there and wreck a game. And he's done that, especially watch for him on 3rd and 4th downs. I mean, he seems like, I don't know whether saving up is the right way to say it, but it seems like he saves up for the biggest moments and usually comes through in the clutch in those times.
Chiefs took an important step last week in establishing themselves as the next, big thing in football, like the Patriots, taking a page out of the Patriots book by
they got haters
complaining about a call at the end of a game that seemingly has the world pitted against them. Is this something that you at the Kansas City Star, in your opinion columns, have you rallied around? Is this a unified front in complaining about that offside call, which was a true miscarriage of justice? I mean, the guy was only 2
miles over the line of scrimmage.
Over the line of scrimmage. Come on, Jesse.
Well, it was great. I was walking with Sam McDowell, our great columnist, and that was like a column he had this week is like, embrace the Patriot way here.
No.
You are now the villains. You are now hated. This is what Tom Brady used as fuel. Just embrace it. People, they don't like Mahomes anymore. He was complaining too much on the sideline, that sort of thing. It's been an interesting week. We just never seen anything like it. So, first off,
never seen a guy offside before?
Well, Andy Reid had never had an offensive offsides called against him in all his career of head coaching. So, I think it was a little bit out there. He later clarified his comments and kind of talked about, hey, there's this unspoken language between the sideline, or I guess spoken language between the sideline and the referees, where you warn them, you go to the coach, and the coach tells the player, all these sorts of things. And then obviously Dan Orlovsky on ESPN showed, hey, there were other instances where Kadarius Toney was lined up offsides during the game, didn't call it, all those things. We can go through that. But, they got fined. You guys saw it. I mean, Andy Reid got fined $100K for his comments. Patrick Mahomes got fined $50K for his sideline tirade. But usually Andy Reid throws away questions about the officiating. Last week, he was turning down any questions that were not about the officiating. So you want to talk about complete opposites of what normally happens. We were kind of just shocked, and then we've never seen it from Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. I mean, he is Mr. Keep it cool.
I mean, even the week before, he took the high road of that Green Bay game.
The MVS should have been pass interference call. He said, hey, I could have thrown it better. You want to let the players play. I mean, spoken or not, guys, Andy Reid probably doing it to defend his player and to make a statement. Patrick Mahomes probably doing it because he's frustrated about this season.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's underlying frustration there. And he handles things the right way. You know what I mean? And he can only say so much in public settings to keep his guys around him tight. And so he can't yell about his receivers not getting open. He can't yell about his tackles not blocking for him. He can't yell about the frustrations that, his tight end is not quite playing at the level that he normally does, because Father Time comes for us all. but he can yell at the officiating because that's kind of an outlet that allows him to do that. So, again, that's not anything he can say in a press conference. That's not anything he will say in a press conference. And he's said in a press conference that's not what he was frustrated about. But I'm sure under the surface, we actually got a pretty honest Chris Jones, I thought, earlier this week where he said, yeah, guys are frustrated. And this is, again, I feel like a safe space here. Like the Patriots, Chiefs are like not used to losing 2 in a row around here. You know what I mean? And the rest of the fan base on the NFL are like, oh boy, first world problems. You know what I mean? But it's true about the Chiefs. Like they're used to things going their way, and recently things have just not gone their way. So I think some of the frustration definitely came out in that call when the Chiefs, once again had something go for them to get it wiped away and go against them.
Just along those lines, what is their headspace coming into this game? Where do you think they're at?
I think it's a fascinating game for them. I kind of talked about it earlier in the week. It kind of feels like a fork in the road because we haven't seen that. I was in the locker room, guys, and they're passing around phones of the screenshot, and I'm telling you, to a man, they're all upset. They think that they got robbed in that game. And again, they're all on the field more than I am. So those things that get taken care of when you're talking officials to coaches, all that stuff. But even like a Jalen Watson, who was a cornerback for them, he went on social media afterwards and said that there was an illegal contact called for him late in the game that helped the Bills get their late field goal, and he was saying that he did the same thing all game, and then it was almost like it opened up things when Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes did it for everyone to start. But at least they're sort of galvanized. You know what I mean? Like at least it's all in it's not at each other. It's at another entity. So I don't know. I mean, I just know I haven't seen it. I've not seen a locker room like that. I've not seen Andy Reid like that. I've not seen Patrick Mahomes like that. So what's going to happen today? I don't know. I don't know.
There's no frame of reference for it.
Exactly. Yeah. So they could come out guns a-blazing and win and come together and not make the same mistakes they made. Again, guys, like we can go in circles all we want. Like you look at expected points added, like Mahomes' interceptions were 6 points and Rasheed Rice's fumbles worth 4.5. I mean, they handed the other team 11 points. You don't do that, you beat the Bills pretty easily probably. And again, I can go if, ands, or buts all the way down the line, but that is on them, and those were 2 big mistakes that really cost them the game. So I don't know, but again, there was kind of a different feeling this week, a different level of urgency, and then the way they handled that loss compared to other ones, it's not something I've seen. So if it does start this winter, you guys saw Chris Jones on the sideline with his defensive line coach, where defensive line he yells at him, defensive line coach spikes the tablet. You saw Patrick Mahomes chuck his helmet. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff here going on that is showing the frustration of this team. So will that bring them together or continue to splinter them? I don't know that answer, but it'll be fascinating to watch today.
How much of the Patriots have you watched this season? Or did you watch the Thursday night game?
Some of those, yes. That's about it. I was going to say,
it's okay.
It's not, yeah.
Yeah.
Not worth it is what you guys are telling me?
No, it's just talk about, no frame of reference. That this is something that, not used to. There are people, a lot of hardcore Patriots fans who are still watching. Like any other market, there are a lot of casual fans who have kind of tapped out on this season. There, it's kind of an afterthought. Oh, what did the Patriots do today? Treating it like a Red Sox game. Mildly interested in the outcome, but not necessarily giving it their full attention. But why were you asking the question, Tamara?
I was just curious to see, if they even look. Obviously any weekend in the NFL, anyone has a chance to win, but just seeing, like, do you think this could be a get right game for them, considering, how down the Patriots are, especially in the secondary where they have so many injuries and kind of a lot of young guys playing?
It could be. I mean, here's the thing. I think you guys know the musical chairs have gone on with Patriots in the quarterback position, and we just know how important that is. And sort of like the hope for the Chiefs, I think, is all these weird things we're talking about not going right for them doesn't involve Patrick Mahomes being injured or Andy Reid not being on the sideline. You know what I mean? And it just makes such a difference. I will say there's been a lot of defenses that have stopped the Chiefs this year that are not as good as New England's. So that's the thing. And you look at the last 3 weeks as well, which is something to watch. Chiefs have been down double digits the last 3 games they played in the first half. I mean, they've gotten off to horrific starts. Just 3 games in a row, boom, boom, boom. Now, you end up coming back and winning one of those games and playing really well against Las Vegas, but it's tough. And that puts your offense in a bind. You're having to throw the ball more. Again, we're talking about the run game. Well, you aren't going to run as much if you're down double digits. And this is obviously what kind of atmosphere are you guys expecting here? I mean, I saw screenshots last week of a kind of half
what I'm
full.
saying.
I think it's better today. I mean, I think certain players' wife and girlfriend will probably
See, that was
probably
actually,
bring some of the crowd out.
That was actually my real question. I was going to ask you about like the Taylor Swift thing. Has that been a distraction in Kansas City, or will you say like they're loving it? They're loving the extra attention and publicity, and people at games hoping they see her and
New
stuff.
fans.
Like,
So I think it's I think it depends on how the team's playing, right?
Okay.
I mean, they love it when it's you go to a game and there she is in the box. You can wave at her and take pictures of her. And when they're winning, and for a while, Kelsey was like, you saw the graphics out there, like he had 100 yards per game when she was there and like 40 yards per game when she wasn't there. They were loving Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? And so now that they've lost a couple and they've lost 4 or 6.
They got the targets on her.
All of a sudden, I mean, not target on her, but it's also a sudden it's like, okay, is this team distracted? Is this going on? I mean, Travis obviously has his podcast, all those sorts of things. So I don't think it is. I mean, obviously, Travis, he's 34. What's crazy to me, guys, and I always like re-look this up because I think I'm wrong. Travis is like 4 months separated in birth. Look it up. Make sure I'm right. Like 4 to 6 months from Gronk.
Yeah.
They're the same age.
Yeah.
Gronk had a Hall of Fame career, retired, came back for a couple years, retired again, and Travis Kelce is the same age as him. You know what I mean? And is still the most productive tight end in the NFL. It just goes to show you that like it's tough at this age to be as good as he is and to keep up that level that people are expecting. So yeah, if there's a little bit of downturn, the offense isn't going as well, the receivers aren't helping out much. You're relying on Travis Kelce to do this. Well, not many tight ends do this at 34 because one of the greatest ones ever, retired, came back, retired, and is loving life outside of that. So
5 months. 5 months.
5 months. Okay,
Yeah.
I said 4 and 6, so I guess you split the difference.
Yeah.
But I mean, to answer your question, like it's a fascination, and it's crazy. Like people go cover the Jets game, like New York Post brings entertainment reporters to cover the game.
wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. Like the first time she came to Arrowhead, there's rumors about like they brought her in a popcorn machine so nobody would see her. You know what I mean? Like it's that sort of thing, that sort of level. And some of our most clicked stories are these photos of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift walking out of the stadium. I'm sure you guys have seen them everywhere, whether they gave the Kansas City Star credit or not. But it is definitely a different deal this year, and has definitely added to the intrigue of this particular team.
Well, there's a different vibe today. I mean, you can tell a lot just by the drive-in. And there's a lot more cars than there were for the last home game. There's a lot more Chiefs jerseys walking down Route 1 than I was expecting to see. I mean, this is, this is one of the teams in the NFL. Obviously, you know this, Jesse. So, with all that being said, all that's on the line, the struggles both teams have been going through, what's your prediction for the game today?
Yeah, and I wrote this in the Kansas City Star too. And by the way, the Chiefs fans do travel, and this is sort of kind of like the America's team part of this. Is like if now they're the it team, and so when you go to their stadiums, they're
good people.
Yeah,
the Kansas City fans, they really are. I mean, I don't know if you've run into them or talked to them. Let's just say there are some other fan bases that come here and you're like, oh, you just roll your eyes and it's like, I can't deal with this. But the Kansas City fan base is pretty solid.
So give it a couple more years of complaining about 8-5 seasons, and I'm sure people will change their tone. So I have the Kansas City Star. The offense just confuses me right now because if you could just point at it and say their problem is they can't effectively throw the ball. Their problem is their quarterback is hurt. Their problem is they can't get anything in short yardage. Like I would be more apt to be like, this is going to continue. But their problem is like they lined up a foot too far off sides for the game-winning play. Their problem is that they threw an interception on a pick. Their problem is that their rookie receiver, who's doing great this year, fumbled on a really bad possession. And I just don't think that's sustainable. I don't think that's something you continue to go on. So I do actually like the Chiefs in a get-right game in this one. Again, we'll see if they fall behind like they normally do. And obviously New England has some offensive limitations that could go rough against the Chiefs defense this year, which is better than years past. But we'll see. I mean, if the Chiefs continue to have those sorts of moments where they lose their minds or have these mistakes that they've had, then Patriots could be up 10-0, just like the last three opponents have been. I just think there's going to be a get right game for the Chiefs where they don't do those silly things that are self-inflicted that hurt them. And this potentially could be it because they are moving the football up and down the field as much as their receivers hurt them, as much as their tackles aren't always reliable. They do move the ball up and down the field. It's just these mistakes are killing them, and it's hard to predict that game to game to say, hey, they're just going to hand the other team 11 or 12 points.
Chiefs by 10, 13, 14?
I was going to say, I've had it in that range, like 10 to 14, but
okay. All right.
yeah, I mean, that's around the spread, right? The spread's like 9? 8.5?
8.5. 8.5 last I saw. Whatever.
I mean,
okay.
I've gotten them wrong lately. So
all right. Hey, Jesse Newell, Kansas City Star at Jesse Newell on X.
Twitter,
I refuse to say Twix. Twix.
Twix.
I like that. Is that yours?
Sure.
I'm gonna start using that.
Thanks.
Twix.
There it is.
Sure.
Not mine at all.
Jesse, appreciate the time. Really. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm going to try to weave my way back out. And,
Good luck. Don't get lost.
Find my way to the press box.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got somebody.
We'll put you in a popcorn machine. Get you up there.
Perfect.
Marine Matt will take care of you.
Matt.
Just follow him. Very good. Paul had to step out as well for his chin wag with the flagship over there. So we will continue here, and we'll take your calls, 855-PATS-500. Email webradio@patriots.com. We're going to talk more about the actual game here, and Jesse did a nice breakdown of both the offense and defense. It was really nice.
I just, the thing that strikes me is just how they are kind of hitting a lot of benchmarks that I remember the Patriots hitting. And, you know, the 07, that felt like everybody all of a sudden, like you said, turned against the Patriots. Like one of the first things I ever wrote about the Patriots that kind of got picked up and published was literally about, like, we're the dark side now. Embrace the dark side, and, you know, everyone's going to hate us. It's just sports. It's okay. But he's saying that, you know, talking about the receivers and trying, you know, they're not on the same page with Mahomes and they're going the wrong way. You know, all these things just kind of, and everybody's starting to hate them. It reminds me a lot of what the Patriots did. And, I mean, I think it, you know, kind of illustrates that had they not hit on Edelman and Gronk in those middle years, that, you know, it might have been where we are right now a lot sooner. But they were able to draft Hightower and Jones, and they drafted star players. They brought them in, and they were able to, you know, get back into the championship hunt with another, you know, group of guys around them. But I'm interested to see. I thought it was a great breakdown of just really giving you a temperature test of where they're at and what's coming in here right now.
I laughed at the end, you know, hearing him just talk about all their self-inflicted wounds. I was like, wow, he sounds like Bill Belichick a little bit, where he's like, if they would stop doing this and stop doing that, if they stop all the turnovers, like they can't
just play perfect.
They can't overcome them anymore. Like I'm like,
I know, and the deep passing stuff is interesting too. So it's you know, it's kind of a reminder that even when you have Patrick Mahomes, and he's, you know, the greatest quarterback in my opinion in the league right now, that, you know, it doesn't always just assure you of, oh, you're going to just waltz through the season. They've got some things to work out, but I agree, though. I think this game could go a few different ways today. I think you could see, all right, it's a Kansas City get-right game, and it's, you know, Patrick Mahomes and Fuego, and the Patriots don't really have a lot of answers. Or, you know, like he said, does the Patriots defense kind of slow them down? Do the Patriots get a lead like they did last time? And all of a sudden, the game's unfolding in the Patriots' favor. I mean, we think we know that's how it has to go for the Patriots to be in it. They got to get off to a good start. So, but it's a little bit encouraging that, you know, that's how they've been playing. But again, they could just flip the switch and they're back. You know,
they could, but you know what you said, and I'm a little slow on the uptake on some of these things. But you know what Jesse mentioned and what you were hitting on again there, Deuce, is, you know, what you see in Kansas City right now is kind of what we saw from the Patriots toward the end with Tom Brady, where it's like you still got the quarterback, still got the coach. What else do you have? Well, all right, is one weapon enough in Travis Kelce?
And one that's kind of banged up. Yeah.
And one that's kind of banged up. I mean,
aging. I mean, he put it more aging. Paul was kind of saying banged up, but
yeah, you know, whatever it is, it's like, we saw that. And had the Patriots not reloaded, you know, after Welker and after Randy Moss with Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski, and just, you know, kind of, you know, keeping that. That's why you're able to sustain that run, because you know, was it Bill or was it Brady? It's more. It's more than that. Yes,
the chemistry to it.
But it took both of those guys, but it took the weapons and it took the defense. Now, defensively, the Chiefs are still very, very good, but offensively, you want to know why they're struggling? It ain't rocket surgery. Yeah. You know, he doesn't have the weapons that he once had, and as you know, Jim Murray on the Sports Hub has said, you know, a couple of times, he's got these stone-handed morons at receiver, you know, who just drop passes or fumble the ball. It's like, all right, that's a problem. It's a problem we've seen around here. I'm not picking on the Chiefs. I'm, you know, if anything, I'm making excuses for Mahomes. Does anybody think that Mahomes has fallen off? Does anyone think that Andy Reid has lost his ability to coach? No, they're lacking some weapons right now.
And I mean, I would use this as an opportunity to highlight your Lions team that won big yesterday. And
they sure did.
You know,
They
drafted
sure-
Jahmyr
they
Gibbs.
sure did.
People were, kind of grilling him for that. I mean, they hit on Amon-Ra St. Brown a couple years ago. They got Jamison Williams. They've got, a good line. I mean, it's it's all coming together, and it just shows you like you couldn't just have Gronk. Probably you needed Gronk and Edelman. And I think you look at some of those Super Bowls. In 2017 when you had Gronk, you didn't have Edelman. In 16, luckily you had Bennett to fill in for Gronk. But it's not enough to just have that number one receiver. You need.
Yeah.
And I know it's not a pitch to say let's just get a bunch of threes and try to make it work. But you need game changers, and even Patrick Mahomes isn't immune from that either.
Let's go back to the phones here. We'll talk to Patty and Agawam here as the Patriots pregame rolls on. 855-PATS-500. What's going on, Pat?
Hey, good morning, y'all.
Oh,
Good
wow, look at
morning.
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. How about that?
That's right, man. Made a nice breakfast this morning. I'm making some nice chili today, so I just wanted to get into why I think the Patriots have a really good chance today.
Okay.
And to me, mentally, I mean, I know like Pat Mahomes receivers are dropping passes on him, and Travis Kelce is aging, and he's an all-timer. Like he's an all-time great already in his young career. But we saw this after the 2018 AFC Championship game when they were bitching about not getting the ball, And I mean, the rules are the rules, and we all saw last week this guy lines up offsides, like his whole body's over the ball. And they're complaining about it. I mean, if you're that mentally soft, I mean, come on, they're better than that. That's all I got to say. You remember 2013 when we played the Panthers, and I mean, Luke Kuechly pretty much.
They haven't stopped complaining about that yet.
Well, what did they say when they got to the podium, Paul? They just said
they attacked the poor official on the field.
On the field.
Oh, okay. So that's okay. They didn't do it on the podium. They just attacked the guy on the field. So that was okay. All right, got it.
That's fine.
Hey, listen, these guys put a lot into these games. They get frustrated. The officials are awful, and they react to it. Like I don't really. It was way out of character for. I thought embarrassingly so for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes last week. I'm not going to kill him for it. It was embarrassing. They went on and on and on. It was embarrassing. They did it. I get it. Just like Bill yelling at the guy about the field goal in 2012 in Baltimore. Like, it happens. I don't kill these guys for it. It happens in the moment. They're frustrated. These games mean a lot. There are only 17 of them. They all matter, and an official comes into play. They're frustrated. I get it. They bitch.
Do you put any stock into them just like they're not playing good? Like they're 2-4 in the last 6 games, right? And it seems to me like they're just
and they believe that they would probably be 4-2 if the officials didn't get in the way. That's the whole point. Mm-hmm. They're not playing well. They're not as good offensively as they have been. They don't have an offense. They don't score a lot of points. They're like middle of the pack offensively. They average 22 points a game. This is way down for them.
They've scored more than 21. 4 times, I think?
I'm not going to go as far as Freddie said, that they're going to win today. But I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be an entertaining game, hopefully. And,
well, it should be close because the other team can't score. So it should be a close game.
Yeah.
And I'll pick the Chiefs to win 20-18. I'll throw a deuce 18er out there for you guys.
Deuce. Nice.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Pat.
Okay.
Enjoy that chili.
Can we get chili?
He's making chili.
Oh, nice, Patty.
He made a nice breakfast, and now he's making a nice chili.
Good job,
That
Patty.
sounds good for football watching Sunday. I like that.
Doesn't that sound good?
I'd do the eggs with the chili.
I had a little chili last night.
Yeah,
That's good.
Eggs with the chili. Do that. Yeah.
See, I would go green chili. I would go New Mexico Hatch green chili, which is not chili, but it is a chili.
I like it.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Can we talk a little bit here about the play that got called back because of the offside call?
Yeah.
The Travis Kelce lateral. Don't worry, I'm watching it. It's like one of these eye-popping plays. Wow. And within 5 seconds after he did it, I said, that was really dumb. What a dumb play.
So,
I
agree.
An unnecessary, risky play. That after the reception, it is a guaranteed field goal to get you to overtime if you don't run another play.
It definitely gave me PTSD from the Raiders game. I jumped. I feel like when it happened because I was like, ugh.
I'll give him that he executed it obviously, and it worked in the moment.
But it could have gone bad.
Did you think the same thing, Paul?
Yeah, I thought it was an unnecessary risk, just like you said, and I didn't understand it. Then people like I've been talking to a little bit wonder if it was like a play, like if it was like
there's no way.
Intentional. I've watched it a million times. I don't really see any evidence that it was a designed play because he just runs around too long with the ball before he throws it. Like if he had taken like one step and then immediately looked to the outside, I think he's running, weaving in and out of traffic.
I'm going to narrate it. Ready? He's like, I got it. I'm running.
I'm weaving. Now he looks up and throws. Like,
jeez, look at that.
Like he had the ball for a long time before he threw it. So I don't think it was a design play. And my initial reaction was exactly what Hardy said. Unbelievable play that these guys are so gifted that they can on the fly do something like this, but a very unnecessary risk.
I mean, do you think it's ever like a coaching point of just throwing it out there in desperation, like this might be a place where if you got Tony on the backside or the receiver, be aware of it? I don't know. It's just, is it something that was already in his mind or was it spur of the moment kind of?
Yeah, just on a random aside here, like inactives for like other games, like you talk about the injuries that are hitting Miami Dolphins. This is their inactive list. Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott, their two starting safeties. Xavier Howard, a starting corner. Tyreek Hill, nothing else to be said. And Robert Hunt, one of their offensive linemen. There are two others that are on IR already. This is the league. This is the league.
Our inactives are out too. It's so Juju's down. Shaun Wade, Ramondre, Trenton Brown, Keyshawn Boutte, and Sam Roberts. And Pacheco is out for the Chiefs along with Donovan Smith.
Yeah, Pacheco's having a surgery, I think. Oh. Shoulder surgery, it looks like.
Having a surgery.
According to the internet.
Yeah. He's listed with a surgery.
Yeah, that's
unfortunate.
Tyreek with an ankle.
Shoulder surgery.
With a surgery.
Yeah, I have a weird take.
Oh, I like
That's
it.
bad for the Patriots that he's not playing today. Pacheco? Because they would run the ball more. And I think you can't run the ball against the Patriots.
Right.
So now they just got to throw it.
You can't win, Rock.
You can't run, guy. You ain't running, guy.
Going back to that play again, also considering how their wide receivers have been dropping the ball as much as they have, I would have been scared to even do something like that.
Tony dropped that one
Yes,
too.
could you imagine? Like, that would have been,
Now that's a fumble, right? Like that would be a fumble, right? Like he caught
if it went backwards,
Yeah.
Yikes.
Absolutely.
Whatever. I mean,
I agree with you, Hardy. I think it was a very unnecessary risk.
Kelsey's just cocky. He's dating Taylor Swift. He's like, I can do anything. I'm gonna throw
I don't know how we got Taylor Swift into that, but
Yikes.
I'm on top of the world. You take it. I can do no wrong.
And then the Patrick Mahomes commentary afterward, which
I was really unhappy. I can't. I hope they don't leave that. I'm really mad. I hope they don't leave that playoff as highlight reel when he goes into the Hall of Fame. You can't ignore that guy.
Your version kind of sounds like he's from the Bayou.
Oh, God.
I do think too, though. Part of this was why, and our guest said it. It's not just the play, like what happened, the offsides. They were bad, but it was the magic of that play. That was what they were pissed about. Was like, oh, that was the coolest thing ever. If it had counted, everybody. That's what the
and that's the part of it that I get because I get that he's offside. You have to call the penalty. I wouldn't suggest.
But it ruined a great play.
But it had nothing to do with the play.
Right.
Like you could make an argument like, oh well, the guy went in motion and he cut forward.
He had the
too early, so he got to jump on the snap. So that possibly affects the play. Or a guy set an illegal pick to open the guy up. That play doesn't happen, without that.
Yeah.
But there's nothing about the infraction that led to the play, and I get that's a little bit more frustrating, and it happens a lot. And it was the 13th time that an offensive player has been called for offside, according to one of the penalty tracking websites that I looked at this week. I know there was some differing data about that, but the Eagles get called for that occasionally when they do the brotherly shove.
Uh-oh, Paul.
Well, that's what they call it. I didn't make that up.
I know.
It's not a Macaulite. No, let's not get wild with my creativity.
No, it's fine. I think that the play itself and not looking over to the official, which they're allowed to do.
Just like a glance and
the linesman will tell you,
I love the pool report when the
Right
referee said he was so far offside he couldn't couldn't see the ball. Like the side judge couldn't see the ball.
Yeah.
There's some dresses right down there.
Hey.
Yeah.
Not from my mom. No,
From
right
my
in
mom.
there.
No,
From my mom.
that's
in
me
there.
before like a U12 hockey game. Like we're getting the face off and all the kids are coming in the circle. Like, whoa.
Well,
Back up.
that's
Back up.
That's
my
because
move.
they can't stop themselves on their skates.
I know,
They
it's
just
very-
start
it's very slippery, I
moving
know.
on the ice is
See the circle
Slippery?
there? It's there for a reason. Put a foot on the circle. There you go.
it's icy. How about we go to Texas? Talk to Jose here on the Patriots pregame, fueled by Dunkin. Jose, what's going on?
What's going on, guys?
Hey.
How you doing?
So I was hoping for the tank, and then I heard Freddie talking about wanting to see the Patriots win for the locker room. I'm all aboard now. I kind of hope that I know we might not win out, for it won't mean much, but maybe Freddie will smile, and that's all that I'm looking for now. 2023 is in the books.
Yeah, I mean, the tank is something nice to root for in the abstract if it gets you, a certain player at a certain position in the draft. But today, I don't know how you show up at Gillette Stadium or even watch it at home and see the Patriots playing the Chiefs and not hope that they win. And, last week's Thursday night win against the Steelers didn't change your draft order. You're still in the same
You got
spot.
some little bit of wiggle room.
You got a little wiggle room, so it's all right, Jose. I'm with you. I'm picking them to win today. It's a little tipping of my hand. I've been saying it for weeks.
What did because I had to step out to do my chin wag.
Yeah.
How'd
How'd it go, by the way?
What was Jesse's prediction?
Chiefs, get right.
Get right game.
Yeah.
They stopped the stupid mistakes and they just.
What was the score?
He refused to give an actual
A
score.
lot,
He
a
didn't
lot
refu-
to a little.
No,
He didn't
just
refuse. I think
said
he
by about 9-ish.
Yeah,
I
he.
think was.
Okay.
I think maybe he couldn't remember. He said he predicted it in the Kansas City Tribune, which he plugged or the Kansas City Star.
Yeah.
Excuse me, which he plugged a lot while I was here. That is a company man right there.
Good job,
Jesse Newell.
I
liked
it's
him.
like Deuce and I.
Yeah.
I enjoyed our time with Jesse.
I did too. Yeah, I mean, I was ready to just let him stay the whole show and not have to talk.
I
much.
noticed that I was getting he pipped when I left. And the
A
guys
little
just
bit.
kept like every time I look over, it was Deuce was like, this guy.
Hey,
You
we
could
love
just-
him.
You can't hear it, but you see through the glass. Deuce
Hell
is
yeah.
like you. Oh,
right.
Just waving aside Paul's empty chair. Like,
I was
You
wa-
there.
I could see
Were
it.
you,
I got
were
Wally
you
pipped.
in here when I asked him about if Taylor Swift was a distraction?
No.
Oh, thank God, no. That's what I was going to say.
Thank God, no.
But I would say just getting like a guy in here, and usually it feels a little rushed when they're on the phone, but you really just get a sense of what the feel was. And I mean, of all the weeks to get a feel for how things were in Kansas City, this is a really good one. I thought he had a lot of insight.
I
of just,
agree.
And so I said, Paul, I think you were out, but I just said so much of what he said kind of just reminded me of like the Patriots after a while. They'd be kicking butt. Nobody really likes them anymore. Everybody wants to complain about them, and just some of the issues that they're having sustaining.
Well, and that was
success.
like, when I came in, it was like in the middle of Patty's call, and he was talking about, and I totally agree. Like, it was embarrassing how much they complained last week. This is how everybody thought about you.
Yep.
For all those years.
Yep. Yeah.
Because on the few occasions that you actually lost games, it was always the ref's fault.
Yeah.
And I can give you chapter and verse a million different examples. They never got beat by anybody. It was always like that Cleet Snakeman. He doesn't like us.
Well, he didn't.
I like Cleet.
Right. And that was kind of always the way. And that's how everybody else viewed you.
Yeah.
And now we're doing, and that's what, like I said, I thought it was embarrassing.
like-
the extent that Reed and Mahomes
They
went
wouldn't-
last week
they
was embarrassing.
wouldn't come off of it.
No, they wouldn't stop.
Paul, from your perspective, I mean, complaining about ref stuff aside, like when did you start to feel kind of a shift from the Patriots being that underdog, everybody's American team in 01 to, 03 was right when it was?
Yeah.
When they just started rolling, or after they won it in 03?
Because I'll be honest here. When they won the first one and then didn't make the playoffs the next year, I sort of thought, it all came together. They got a million breaks. We know all the different breaks they got down the stretch of that season to win games, and not the least of which was the Jets beating the Raiders to make the Raiders have to come here for the playoffs and give you the bye and all that stuff. And then they didn't make the playoffs the next year. I was like, that was kind of a fluke. And then 03, they go 14-2 and roll through the playoffs, win another Super Bowl. That was it. In 04, they weren't the scrappy underdog anymore, even though they tried to paint themselves as one. They were favored on the road of the AFC Championship game against a 15-1 team.
Yeah.
That's how good they were.
Sums it up.
But nobody thought they could do it.
No.
Nobody believed.
And as Willie McGinnis said to me, Paul, you might have written that, but you didn't really believe it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can show you my prediction right here. You didn't believe it. You said that we were favored, but you didn't really believe it.
What was the
They had a lot of fun with us.
What was the line in the Super Bowl that year?
I don't know.
That's
I had to that was also
Rodney?
that was also the one Super Bowl that I did not attend.
Oh.
Would you get married or something?
Yeah, well, Will was born.
Oh, Mazel Tov.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Also, I think one of the biggest things from Jesse that I liked was how he, kept talking about their self-inflicted wounds and all the things that they were doing and how they weren't able to overcome them. And I laughed because he was just like, people are looking at us like 8-5, like, we don't want to hear it. Like,
right.
we have bigger problems. But to hear that, like, he kept pointing to those turnovers and how they weren't able to overcome it, that's weird.
Yeah.
Mahomes not able to overcome an interception and still win the game.
Yeah.
And not have any fourth quarter comebacks.
It's new territory for them, but I did like that Jesse said, after all the complaining that Mahomes and Reed were doing, he thought of this and one of the guys on our station, on your station there, Paul, it was Fred who was the first one to say it, I think, on Monday of last week. He's like, Mahomes isn't really that mad at the officials. He's mad at his receivers.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's what, if you want to say why can't they overcome these things, that's it.
Yeah.
Because he constantly is putting his team in position to win these games, and his teammates are letting him down.
Yeah. Jeff is in Maine, and he is on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. Jeff, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey.
Hey, Jeff.
I don't know if you guys have gone over Inactives yet. I just tuned in a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
But Booty is inactive again. He wasn't on the injury report on Friday. I have been, maybe against my better judgment, championing for him to get some more playing time. But from the team's view, if he's practicing and preparing so badly that they won't play him with their first and second string receivers at his natural position at the Z with Bourne and Juju both out, if they're not willing to play him when he's their third string and those two are out, wouldn't from their point of view they just want to cut him? I mean, if he's not good enough to be their third string Z in a three receiver set, I don't understand why they're keeping him. I don't know what's going on there, but it seems to me like they don't even view him as an NFL receiver.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point, fair question. I would argue that Demario Douglas is that. I think he's the Z, but that's semantics. I continue to say, Mike, and I think you're with me, I was as extremely unimpressed with Kayshon Boutte throughout training camp. I thought there were an occasional flash play or two that he made that seemed to generate a lot of attention.
Yep.
But on a consistent basis, I didn't see him getting open. I didn't see him catching the ball. I didn't see him making a lot of plays.
I feel like the same thing happened at LSU. I feel like he had those moments where he showed that he could be a top round pick, and then there are other moments where you're like, forget that he's even out there.
Yeah, he had one absolute monster game at LSU that sort of carried his career there.
Yeah, wasn't it the Tennessee preseason game where he had the nice catch in the one of the preseason games where he caught it?
Might have been Green Bay, but yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He had a flash play here or there.
Yeah,
but I'm with you, Paul.
That's it.
I mean, it's kind of similar to how I felt about Malik Cunningham. That these guys make a couple plays in the preseason that aren't fully viewed, and then everybody kind of just gloms onto them of like that one play is what they could be if they could just get playing time. I mean, for whatever reason, look, Jalen Reagor is above him right now, and that's basically what it boils down to.
That's the one that I would point to, not necessarily any slot stuff, but if Reagor, who has been an afterthought for 2 months,
2 catches, and he's gotten some chances, but
I do agree. Is it Jeff? I do agree with Jeff that have they just decided that this guy's not really an NFL player because he can't seem to get on the field.
Yeah, I mean, even Gesicki, who we probably would point to as well, he's kind of a receiver. I mean, he's not even really getting any attention either, but he's active every week.
Jeff had enough of us.
Jeff had
Sorry,
enough.
Jeff.
I will say, after Inactives, I meant to say, like, Demario Douglas being back today is huge.
Yeah,
It's really
I mean, I just am excited to give Zappy a little bit more to work with today.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think that to me is the key line from the Patriots today is, can the offense put together a consistent game? Can, Zappy continue to make strides? I think, over the last 4 games, I don't know how much you can learn. I think the defense is pretty good. But if you see significant strides from Zappy and you see the offense start to come together a little bit here in the final 4 games, I think I think it's significant.
I would love to see him, have some kind of a rapport with DeMario Douglas out there today, because let's face it, as good and dynamic a player as he is, he's not get it up there in his general direction. He's going to come down with it. He's not that type of receiver. If you get it to him, he can make good things happen after the catch. But
you guys will have to tell me what happens, because I'm going to be watching with my hands over my face every time he's out there.
Yeah,
I just get
DeMario?
worried about guys that have 2 concussions in 6 weeks and he's back out there. I worry about those things. I know, and everybody says, why is he always worried? He's always concerned about something. Yeah, I've seen guys' careers end early with multiple concussions, and I worry. I think he's a promising player.
We're going to step aside, and then we're going to continue.
Oh,
because we got to pay the bills. By the way, making it to Wednesday would be a huge win. Most people say that most of us will not make it to Wednesday of this week for various reasons.
Why?
live? You mean
Just
the world ending?
making it to Wednesday is a win. Okay, period. Celebrate with Dunkin' Rewards, and rewards members get a free donut with drink purchase every Wednesday. Limit 1 classic donut per member per Wednesday. Terms and exclusions may apply. Participation may vary. Offer ends 12/27/2023.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Studies show that up to 94% of female C-level executives played sports. That's why Bridgestone is partnering with professional football teams across the country to sponsor girls' flag football leagues, bringing new opportunities to those that need it most. Because learning to catch and dodge matters. But learning to lead on the field so you can lead in any field, that's what really matters.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on Unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on Unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no!
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on Unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on Unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Studies show that up to 94% of female C-level executives played sports. That's why Bridgestone is partnering with professional football teams across the country to sponsor girls' flag football leagues, bringing new opportunities to those that need it most. Because learning to catch and dodge matters. But learning to lead on the field so you can lead in any field, that's what really matters.
Touch View Interact.
On Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on Unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on Unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on Unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on Unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Should have saved that for December 24th. Sorry.
It's true.
Oh.
She might be onto something there.
But how do I know it's going to be relevant in that game?
Yeah. And
Russell Wilson? I mean, I don't know.
Tamara, I'm not showing up for that game.
What if it's Rudolph and Donner?
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
I want to thank Bridgestone, the official tire of the New England Patriots. Proud to partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires.
You just got new tires.
Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you. I put some tires on my daughter's car yesterday. Did you do it yourself, Hardy? Hells no.
Did she get mud?
Took it to the professionals.
Did she get mud in the tires? Is that what happened?
Identical.
With anybody who's been in Mississippi and stuck in the mud. Mm-hmm. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Welcome back to the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin at Gillette Stadium. Glorious day. Wondering about the rain coming in later. It's going to be nasty around here tomorrow. And yes, I am a cock-a-doodie weatherman now.
Oh, he's going for the button.
Yeah, see? Yep. It is.
Did you tell Hardy when somebody called in and gave him some guff about the email reading? What was
so
the,
now
what
you're
was
getting
the wording?
now you got some criticism for being too theatrical when you read
that
the
was
emails.
what it was, theatrical.
After
I think
Fred
theatrical's
Fred
nice.
called you out for just reading the emails plainly, and you played it up a little bit. Now you're getting criticized for. Can't you just read the emails? You have to be so theatrical.
All right. Well, let's see how I do with this one. This is Amber from Arizona. Hey, y'all. Today is my first time seeing the Patriots in person, and I'm super excited. I'm making my family listen to the pregame show right now to get excited for the game. And just wanted to say, keep up the good work. Love listening to y'all. Thanks.
Aw.
Amber from AZ. How was that?
Was that an Arizona accent?
Yeah, I wasn't really getting. I don't know, dog. A little pitchy, dog.
I thought that was.
Is it really Miss Arizona? Get out of here. Miss Arizona?
It's not exactly like Miss Montana either. I mean, Miss Arizona.
Yeah, right.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I just want to.
Arizona State, Arizona.
Quick
We've
Google
seen-
here of Amber, Miss Arizona. See what we. Oh, she is a delight.
She's a delight.
Look
says
at
Harvey.
her. She's practically America's sweetheart. All right.
Well, she's listening
Rocking
with her
Patriots Unfiltered T-shirts for us.
Oh, there you go.
That's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, that's really, really nice. Thank you, Amber. I have no idea if you sound like that, but
It sounded right.
appreciate
in there.
you listening.
Most people sound like that.
Hey,
appreciate you.
What? Yeah. Why don't you escort her into the studio? I mean, as nice as it was having Jesse Newell here from the Kansas City Star, how about Miss Arizona? Could you give her an escort through the concourse there, Matt?
I could.
Yeah. I mean, what do we?
I don't think Matt's allowed near women.
Wow.
50 yards. No.
Wow.
Wow. That seemed really unfair. Erica,
Legally, he's
Erica in Virginia. You don't have to talk to Deuce if you don't want to, Erica. I wouldn't blame you.
Oh, not Deuce getting the heat.
Yeah. How about that?
Sorry.
What do you got for us today, Erica?
All right, I got a couple things. Is Samara still there?
Oh, she just stepped down. She pregame warmups.
Oh, man.
She's gone.
Man, well, I just need to know if she's watched Silence of the Lambs yet, because now my best friend needs to know.
Oh, I'm going to say no, she didn't.
I'm going to guess she didn't.
Yep.
She probably
We'll
spent
stay on
That's
her.
why we keep losing.
all of her off days were probably spent watching Law and Order.
Or sleeping.
Or sleeping. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, hey, is there a chance that we keep Booty somehow and get him to play next year? Because, I mean, obviously we're not going to see him. I mean, what?
Yeah, I think he's got. I mean, he'll have a chance to come back and compete. I mean, maybe. I mean, That's way down the list, though, of what is this organization going to look like at that point, you know? But I mean, I would say, generally speaking, you've had a guy who stuck around, and I mean, you've put a little bit of time into him. I don't think, you know, like our last caller, that he necessarily has a death sentence, but I don't know. I mean, you're not in the position where, hey, we're good, we don't need any receivers. Like, I just think anybody with some talent that you put some time into, keep him around until you have to get rid of him.
True. So, all right. And then today, is there a point in winning today? For real, is there a point in it?
Yeah. I think you can get something out of winning, absolutely, and particularly when you're playing a good team with a good history. Yeah, I think anytime you win, you know what I mean. It's better than losing.
I know,
as Nuke Lelouch would say.
It's just hard to balance because I mean, how many Patriots fans would love nothing more than to be a thorn in the Chiefs' side of trying to get playoff seeding and all that. And I mean, look, it all comes down to draft position. I get it, but it's still this is a good team that would probably feel, draft aside, pretty good to beat an old rival, somebody like.
And
this.
that's how I would feel about it. Like I don't think it necessarily has to mean anything going forward in terms of culture or a better outlook for next season. But I don't worry. Like at the end of the year, the draft position is going to be what it is. But I've said this a million times: you can't play the games to worry about draft position. You can't go out there and intentionally try to lose. You have to try. You have to try to win the games.
The draft position, because we're so far in already.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there is something to be said for the win in terms of what it would mean for Belichick as a team, as a whole. No. I mean, but for the head coach, both personally for him, in terms of, the wins and what it could mean to maybe holding on to the idea of getting his job here again next year, if that's what he wants. Yeah, of course.
Well, I just think he
tons
needs,
of points.
He needs what, 16 more wins?
Yeah. 16, I think it's down to now,
to break the record. So any wins that he can get are meaningful for him.
Yes, Erica, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. We're going to go to David, New York. What's up, David? Thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey,
really good.
Hey, so I had a two-part question here. The first part is, how do you guys feel about the fans who are wanting to lose these games and for a better draft position? And then my second part to this question is, how does the fan in you feel about that? Do you want this team to keep winning? Do you want to get that better draft pick, short-term pain for long-term gain?
Yeah.
And then I'll take it off the air. Thanks, guys.
I mean, I think we're all conflicted because, and you do have a little bit of breathing room. That's why, like the last one, I didn't get too upset because they were in the same spot. And, I don't know. I do think that there's a fine line with every draft pick that you drop down, and especially when you need a quarterback. And we know there's, a couple guys at top that you'd love to, have a choice between Drake May or Caleb Williams. I don't know if one of those guys is, the answer and who you have to pick, but would love to have the choice and be in that department. You don't want to be 4th, 5th overall, and you see the top 2 quarterbacks go, and then as we've discussed, you're kind of, all right, well, I'm going to talk myself into, Penix or Daniels or, those guys who very well may be good players, but I think you'd love to have the choice. So I'm conflicted like everybody is. I just try not to think about it and, go into each game. I'd love to just see them fight hard, and if they come out on the bottom, all right, well, that's the silver lining is that they're staying down there at the top of the
fanboy in me, I would rather the draft pick lose, but I know it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that in a vacuum. Like, you have to try to win the game as the players and the organization.
Right. And if Bill already knows, or feels in his heart of hearts he's not coming back next year, then yes, of course, he's going to try and win every game on the way out, A, for his record, and B, what am I doing them any favors for by, losing games and improving their draft position? Making another team in the league that much better that I am going to have to somehow compete against either head-to-head or just, in a playoff race next year if Bill already has his sights set on another team. So either way, it behooves Bill to win today.
Can I ask just a general question? This is just kind of a general philosophical question that I just don't feel like we've jumped in on is why did the offense get worse this year?
That's a really good
question. It was going to be so heavy.
That's a really good question. It was supposed to be better with Bill O'Brien taking over as the offensive coordinator.
I think there's probably a lot of reasons. I think it starts that the quarterback has played worse. I think as the year, he wasn't very good last year. I don't think he was great his first year either. I think he got off to a promising start, slowly declined. I think he's been worse now. So I think it starts with that. They don't have a lot of weapons. I don't ignore that. I don't ignore the offensive line issues that they've had. I think for a myriad of reasons, started in the offseason with not addressing the offensive line. They didn't bring in any tackles. And Mac Jones just hasn't played well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very simplistic. I don't know. There's probably a ton of complicated reasons why those things have happened, but
no, you're right. It's just just boiled down to its most general thing. It was just we spent so much time last year complaining about Matt Patricia and the decision that they made with the offense, and there's no question that that was a bad move and that did not work. But I just don't think anybody could have said, all right, I kind of consider generally the offensive line and the weapons probably kind of a wash, right? I mean, I'll listen to Jacoby Hurt. Like it's certainly having a guy that Mac trusted and not having that hurts. But at the same time, it's Jonnu for Gesicki, whatever.
And not as much help from the defense as they got last year.
That's a great point, Paul. They haven't scored this year,
and I'm not even talking about like the direct. I think they had 8 direct touchdowns, but they had a lot of turnovers they created last year, and they've been very average in terms of forcing turnovers this year.
That's a great piece of it.
All of a sudden you scored 21 the other night. Well, one of them was on an 11-yard drive. Pick 6 basically.
Yeah.
So when you're not getting any of those, and you have to, it's hard.
Yeah, I think what as we're trying to parse out everything of what's Bill, what's Mac, et cetera. It's like what do we lay at Bill's feet for this season in terms of the offense? You know what I mean? We can certainly say they should have gone out and really made sure the offensive line was satisfactorily built on the edges, and they could have done more. We'd have liked to have seen somebody different than Juju, but at the same time, it's hard to just kind of basically swap Matt Patricia for Bill O'Brien, who has done it here, has done it in college. He did it with, in Houston a little bit. He's gotten functional offense. Everyone has every reason to believe that this guy knows how to coach an offensive football team, and somehow it got worse. That's just, at the heart of it. It's a simple question, but one we just don't really ask.
Yeah. It's hard to wrap your head around, and the more you talk about it, the less you end up blaming, I think, Bill Belichick for it, which, he's not thought of as being an offensive-minded head coach to begin with. But, I think Paul hit on it right away. Well, I think Mac played worse. And, you want to go back even a year before that. The expectation was, after his first year, said, well, what's going to happen this year? It'll be Mac's second year. He's going to play better. And I remember raising my hand early on and saying, there's no indication.
What if he doesn't?
What if he doesn't?
Right.
And we started to see the beginning of that. What I did not see coming was that trend would continue into his third year, and that has really hamstrung the team.
Yeah, do you say something, Paul? Sorry.
Well, just even if you go back to last year, the Patricia Judge year, and there was a period after Mac got healthy when he came back. I don't know if it was the middle or whatever, but down the stretch of the season, he did a better job of protecting the ball, avoiding turnovers, and they weren't great offensively by any stretch of the imagination, but they were a little bit better. You know, I can even think of the last game of the year in Buffalo. You know, they've gotten a shootout. They can't win a shootout. But it wasn't like this, where you're scoring 6 points in the game, you know, on a consistent basis. And it got worse.
Yeah.
The first 10, 12 games this year were worse than, by far, the last, say, 7 or 8 games last year.
Yeah.
And like when I go back, I think if there were something to discuss with Bill's kind of role in this season was that I don't think we ever thought he actually believed in Matt. You know, I mean, even going back to last year where Matt can play in this league. Like it constantly felt like Bill had been trying to push the right buttons with him to get the play that they thought maybe they could get out of him. But I just wonder if they knew, A, that they might not get Mac back and get him really on track, and B, how they really felt about Zappy last offseason, because I think we all kind of went through camp. Zappy's fine. We saw him last year. He can be a fine backup quarterback. He gets cut. Everyone was surprised. You know, I think the question for me in regards to all this is, could they have done something on the quarterback market? Could they have gotten, and I mean, I don't know if these guys were, but, you know, we're seeing what like Minshew was doing. Like one of these like veteran guys who was out there that says, look, if it all falls apart with Mac and we kind of have a sneaking feeling that Zappy's not going to be great for Bill O'Brien's offense for whatever reason, you know, maybe they could have made a move and had at least some kind of veteran to go to. Maybe that's the avenue, but I don't know. It's a tough question to unpack.
All right, 855-PATS-500, webradio@patriots.com. I'll get to some more emails here. I'll read the. No, I'll try and do this one. Not too emotive.
You got some electronic mail?
I do. This is from Joe in Weymouth, formerly beautiful Osprey, Florida. Guys and gal, I want to keep Bill because I do not believe his coaching is the issue. I'm not blind, and I recognize he is also responsible for the talent, so there's no need to attack me on that point. And I know I'm in the minority on these points. However, what happens if Bill completely outcoaches Reed today? Does that move any of you who want Bill gone?
No.
And, okay, so in a vacuum, this one game, Joe, no. But I have to say it again, from my standpoint, and also trying to put myself in the shoes of ownership, if they win this game today, the Patriots do, and they win a primetime game, another primetime game on Christmas Eve, and then they beat the Bills in Buffalo, you'd have to be inhuman not to start second-guessing yourself. And, Paul, I understand what you said earlier.
That's fine.
At the end of the season, you know, what does it matter? How did you play in the first 13 games? Yes, of course, you're right. I get all of that. But we're not dealing with robots here. And we're also dealing with an ownership that, all things being equal, the last thing they want to do is move on from Bill Belichick. That after having to do that with Tom Brady or making that decision, they don't want to do this again.
I'm not sure about that one. But I'm not here to take anyone's opinions away from him, by the way. Like, you know, he was like, you know, don't attack me. I don't. I mean, I'm not telling you I never have. But, I mean, Mike's opinion, your opinion, my opinion, let's face it, they're all worth the same. Nothing. Right? It's just our thoughts.
Right.
So I'm not here to tell you, like, you want to put something into, like, I would also wonder, what's the definition of outcoached?
That's what I.
What's the
my
definition of
is,
the
like,
outcoach
how will we
Reed
come
today?
out here and be like, oh my gosh?
So let's just say the Chiefs play a typical 2023 Chiefs game, and Kadarius Toney drops 3 passes, and the Watson kid is not where he's supposed to be 3 times.
Bad coaching.
And the Chiefs end up losing, I don't know, 24-20.
Yeah, they should have coached him.
So
to
that's
catch
exactly
those
the
balls.
same game that Kansas City's played every game, but you're going to deem it Bill outcoached them because you think that the Chiefs are way better than the Patriots, right?
Totally.
So that's like, I just wonder, what does it look like when you say, like, oh, he just totally outcoached Andy Reid today? What does that look like?
I don't know. We'll find out after the game.
I mean, you know, like, I mean, I would just start with, like, could their special teams not make a potentially game-losing play today? Like, you know, did their special teams,
Thank you for bringing up coaching,
you know,
by
those
the
kind
way.
of things, like that, like that's, you know, do they not have too many men on the field, penalties, you know, the Patriots on their end, there's been a lot of things that has not looked like a good, well-coached team. There's been a lot of mistakes that have.
And it hasn't
they've been error
just
repeaters.
been a 1-year thing. This is like a 4-year sample now.
Bottom of the league last 2 years.
Sloppiness. And that to me, like, I get it. Like, X's and O's, I don't think there are too many guys that do X's and O's better than Bill Belichick. I get it. And I think that's what people are clinging to. But there's so much more to it than that. So much more.
It's interesting when you're talking. I mean, we've had a lot of conversation on, if they were to get a new coach and, a lot of desire for, an offensive whiz, and we need an offensive whiz. And I look at, a little bit what the Raiders are doing, a little bit what the Texans are doing. Like, is there just something to be said for having a head coach that maybe necessarily isn't an X's and O's whiz, but it's just a guy that players want to play for?
And that's another one. Like, so, like, you look at, like, these league-wide things, and we every week, and I do it, too. I love it. I have a notebook that's basically 1 week snapshots. Like, that's what we do. You guys have the Sound of Sundays on the Sports Hub, Hardy, where you sort of bounce around the league, right? You
that's
do
really
some
more read and react. But
yeah, okay, all right, read and react. All right. So, everybody does it, and you should. It's fun. That's what makes the NFL different, is that you can take one game and make. So Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders was the very worst rated passer in football before the Thursday night game. What do you think that game had more to do with, the Raiders or the Chargers?
The Chargers stopping playing.
Okay. So now suddenly, and just what you said, Mike, I'm seeing on Twitter, like, this is what happens when you get a young quarterback and you believe in you. He's been terrible. He had one game where they scored 63 points against a team that was utterly determined to get their coach fired. That's what happened on Thursday night. I'm sorry. You don't lose the game 63-21 because you just had this wonderful game plan and your quarterback played out of his mind. They had help, a lot of it, from the other team. And they had no business. They had no interest in being there. Like, we can get lost and say, like, oh, look at him. Look at how they're playing for him. Like,
right.
But
the season's over.
Right. Well, and that's, I'd point, to Houston too, but it's like they didn't want to play for. Chargers didn't want to play for their coach. I just think we're so caught up in the moment.
So what did you
right
think
now
of just out of curiosity, what did we think of the effort in the New Orleans game this year for the Patriots? So when the season was still a season, they quit in the second half in Dallas. They basically quit right after the first pick six in the New Orleans game.
Right.
But they're playing hard for him now, so, let's keep him for old time's sake. We'll make him Tessio, and we'll say, we'll get him off the hook for old time's sake. Like, if you want to keep him, then keep him. But don't keep them because they played hard when they were 2-10.
Oh, yeah,
that's what I don't get.
Yeah, and that, and to be clear, like not the point I was making.
That was more a Hardy thing.
Oh, okay.
No, it's look, Paul. You look at the totality of the season, and nothing should change. If you made up your mind, and I think you were right to make up your mind after that.
Michael!
Oh, here he comes, the destroyer of worlds, Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, and I'm totally.
I love it.
I'm totally with you. Oh, and Eric in the background there too. We got a lot of Patriots.com presence in that.
Focus. I have to say, just getting Zappi gets a little more attention these days in the locker room. He's around, but he's a really likable guy. He's very low key, hangs around, like he's just. I don't know.
Is he hanging around?
Well, I've been in. No, like you see sometimes.
Why does that even mean?
You're snapping at him.
Sometimes you see, certain. Some players are come through, and but he's very comfortable around everybody. He's not. He just doesn't give that vibe off of starting quarterback. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but he comes off as just regular dude hanging out. Hey guys, what's going on? Like I don't know. I haven't seen it really anything like that before.
Oh boy.
Schools.
1 minute ago.
Try not to punch anybody this week. What's the matter?
I got over a little sickness. Yeah.
Open up that door and might get a photo. T. Swift arriving at Gillette Stadium wearing what looks like a Chiefs hat.
Oh.
1 minute ago. That's right outside the door there.
Okay.
Right here.
Right. Yeah.
This door? What? She's coming in this door?
They got to have. Oh no, I take that back.
Yeah,
they have to have a better. Yeah. That's SC.
The old security command.
Well, they're coming through. I mean.
What are you looking at?
Yeah,
I'm looking at a live video.
Oh, George Belichick from Nesson got a shot of her sneaking in. So
yeah,
here we go, guys.
All right,
here we go.
It's happening.
Space.
Let's
talk
like
the last great American. Never mind.
What song was that?
I don't even know.
Are you referencing?
There's a good one called "The Last Great American Dynasty."
I used to think I was a reasonably
like that.
Reasonable Swiftie.
Oh, you can't
You know,
be, Paul.
but I'm not.
No.
Like, there's so many songs
She's
that
put
you
out
guys
every
have
album 3 times.
There's
like,
so
you know.
many songs you guys have referenced that I've never heard of.
That's a good one. I like.
I didn't say it wasn't good. I just don't know it.
No, I think she can write a song, and I don't really care what she dates or whatever, but
She can
make
croon.
some music, and I like it.
Martin,
get it.
Martine.
Dance, do card tricks, sing you a hell of a tune. She can do it all. Tim in Phoenix, what are you going to do
Yes,
for
sir.
us? Yes. What are you going to do?
What are you bringing to the table?
What are you going to do for us?
Well, normally I like to do some housekeeping, and I have some. Nothing. You guys just triggered me on a conversation.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay. That's
this
our
whole
job.
Conversation about keeping Bill, depending on if he wins a couple games. In my mind, his ineptitude as a GM over the past several years is outweighing his genius as an X's and O's guy. The die is already cast. He's gone. I don't care how many games he wins. It's not about this year. It's about the roster going back through several years.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I think probably the state of the roster has more to do with anything.
Bill
And that's
the
kind of
GM.
why, like, and this is, nitpicky, because I think you can always benefit from positive play. But, like, the whole idea that they play well in some of these games offensively, like, the vast majority of these guys aren't even going to be here. Like,
Well,
you're not going forward with
capable.
You're not going forward, with Bailey Zappi as your quarterback, almost, unless you have no other options next year.
Right.
That guy
Then the-
probably will be here next year, Demario Douglas. He'll probably be a part of your offense. But how many other guys are definitively going to be part of your offense the next time you have a good playoff team?
And why is that?
Because of Bill Belichick. That's why I said I agreed with you.
Yeah.
Well, they're not good, and that's Bill Belichick's thing. This roster is a disgrace, and he's the responsible party for it, and he cannot coach his way out of a bad roster.
Yeah.
He
No,
can't do it. I don't care what.
Not
X's and O's he does, though.
not unless they suddenly get the franchise quarterback dropped into the mix. Because the franchise
Well, no,
quarterback
he
would be a lot better with this group of talent around him.
Well, you guys try to divvy up the blame. There's blame everywhere. There's blame on the line. There's blame on the weapons. There's blame on the quarterback. And,
Yep.
and then you sum it all up to the point. What's the common factor? It's Bill. He's got to go. I'm sorry. I love the guy. He's got to go.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel the way that you're talking, Tim. I absolutely agree with you.
No, and
So if they win out,
yes,
doesn't matter. Roster's still bad. Guy's still in charge of roster. Still not doing a good job at making a roster. Get him out of here.
Well, that's the other thing that's been talked a lot about is, like, what if he agrees to have someone else come in here and he can still coach but that's not happening. And all the other scenarios where I say it like I know, but I don't think Bill is going to agree to have someone else come in here and essentially have that person picking all the players and he gets just a little bit of input. And all the other scenarios where, well, the Chargers job opened up, but the GM job is open there too. That way Bill can go there and do both. I don't know that anyone is going to want that. If he ends up somewhere else where they already have a GM or they're going to bring in a GM, that's different because he doesn't have to relinquish anything. In order to stay here and coach and have someone else be GM and be in charge of personnel, he would have to relinquish that control. And I don't see that happening. No. I mean, we never have.
I'm with you 1,000%.
No,
So.
I just noticed JaMychal Hasty there. Forgot to mention he will be
He's
active
up
today. He's up.
He's up today.
See, Bill talked a little bit about his pass protection kind of new guy.
You got a shot of Sailor there in the background.
Sailor,
too?
Martine.
A lot of Patriots.
And the Foxborough Warriors
presence today.
Congratulations on your Super Bowl title. I think they'll be ringing the bell today.
Is Taylor Swift going to ring the bell?
No. She won't be allowed near the bell.
You can't do that.
You got to be a Patriots
Why?
fan.
She's not a Patriots fan.
She's here for the Chiefs today.
She's on the freaking cockadoodie wall out there. She's part of Gillette Stadium. Maybe you guys didn't know this, but the first stadium she ever sold out was there at Gillette. She really likes Gillette because
I've been told that. I've been told that.
Okay.
I think
it's the first stadium she ever played. No one else ever let her do it.
I don't care.
Gillette Stadium said, "We believe in you, Taylor."
And you know what? Do they believe in her enough to let her ring the bell?
You can do it.
No, I don't think that should be ringing the bell.
Let's do over-unders. Let's do that.
It's time for this week's edition of Over-Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
Marie, Matt, what happened last week in over-unders?
Paul 4-2, Mike Hardy 2-4. Bringing the season totals to Mike 42-36, Paul 41-37, Hardy 36-42.
That's not great.
It's tight.
We got a good race going.
No, between you guys, it's
I'm out of the other one. This is the only one I can.
No, you guys are in it. I'm out. I don't care that there's 4 weeks left. I'm out. I'm out of the contest.
Not even
I choose not to run.
Patrick Mahomes passing yards 254.5.
254.5. Wow, gosh, that sounds crazy low. But I'm gonna look real quick. Yeah, that's about right. That's usually where he is.
You're supposed to do this research ahead of time.
I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over because I don't think they'll be able to run it all, so they'll have to throw it.
That's such a good point, but in just keeping with what my overall prediction on the game is going to be, I have to be true, and I'm going under.
Bailey Zappi passing yards 189.5.
That's you, Paulie.
I'm going to take the under on that.
Oh, I'm going way over. I'm blowing up that over.
Yeah, I'm with Paul. I'm going under on that one.
Oh, this is going to be a bloody over-under this week.
You just want my pick.
First half total 19.5 points.
You all right?
You all right? I could see a 10-7 score at halftime, so I'm going under.
Yeah, that just seems I can't take over on points, so I'm going under.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under as well.
Total touchdowns 3.5.
Ooh. Let's get crazy. I'm going to go over.
Over is the right call on this one, by the way.
I'll take the over.
Everybody's going over on that.
Longest field goal 37.5.
Yeah, I'll take the over on that. I don't think weather is an issue at all, right? It's pretty calm.
For now.
No wind.
Yeah, I'm seriously.
I'll take the over.
Yeah, I think it will happen more than once. I'm going over.
I'm going to just go under for fun.
That's good for you. Good for you.
Poops and giggles.
Yep.
And the total score 37.
I'm taking the over.
I'm going to take the over too.
Me too. Over. Over me.
When were you under me?
Very good. Well done, everybody.
Wrap that one up.
Proud of everybody.
Yeah.
Bing.
Good job, everybody.
Really good job. Back to the electronic.
Paul, does it bother you at all that Pop's got the sunglasses shield on? Concussion.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Has he always worn that?
No.
Yes.
You know what? Now
it's not
now
a
I'm
it's a concern.
Yeah, it's not
a concern.
I mean,
he's still not great with bright lights, but he's good to go.
For the longevity of the player, in terms of wanting him around, but just forget about whether he plays here next year or not. Just for him.
Yeah.
No, there's no need. There's no need. Is Judon going to be coming back and playing at the end of this season?
Yeah, that's interesting because Bill was asked about that this week, and he did say that if he's medically cleared, he will begin practicing and preparing. He didn't say if he would come back.
There's no way.
But I can't believe that they would even contemplate it.
There's no way.
And I don't really understand why Judon would want to.
So why?
Unless there's some kind of monetary reason for him to.
Maybe.
If he can get back active for a game, I don't know.
There's Schooner Tuna, who was ill on Thursday, but apparently is feeling well enough to be out there. All right.
There's Barmore.
There's the best player on the Patriots for the last 2 months.
And I'd highlight him, and I'd highlight Josh Uche, who's running by him, and even Mac Wilson, who I think has kind of come on in the last couple of weeks. He's been a little surprising. I just think they're going to need some athleticism, some speed to deal with Mahomes, especially late and down. So I just would love to see, Uche be able to use that athleticism that he does have to, chase him down and get him to the ground. That's when the game goes nuts late in the game.
Does Steve Belichick and Barmore?
Yes.
What was awkward about that? I don't understand what you're saying. This is from Chad. He said, I'm really worried that the Pats are going to bring Bill back and either won't have a top 3 pick or he'll trade out and not select a new starting quarterback. So if you can only fill the quarterback need via draft, I think he actually misspoke here. Who would you want to bring in from free agency or possibly trade for? Okay.
For a quarterback?
For a quarterback. And he lists 13 available free agents in 2024. You want to go through these?
He says Jimmy G.
These are quarterbacks that are available?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Via free agency in 2024.
Correct. This is if you don't get anybody in the draft,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Kirk Cousins.
I would take him.
No.
Ryan Tannehill.
No.
No.
Jacoby Brissett.
No.
Yeah.
What?
He said yeah. I said no.
No. I like Jacoby, but no.
I like him as a person.
I
not as
love
a
him as a
quarterback.
person.
Not as a quarterback.
I don't think it changes one thing here to bring in Jacoby Brissett as
Does
a
Kirk
quarterback.
Cousins with a blown Achilles change anything?
Yeah, he does.
Doesn't
actually.
practice at all until like October. What does that?
Oh,
does that
well,
change?
so Aaron Rodgers can rupture his in September
he's
and be
crazy.
back on the
He
practice
crazy.
field in December, but Kirk Cousins does it in the middle of the season. He's gone for the next year.
Well, I would assume he's at least going to be on the PUP list. I mean, that's a major injury, right?
I would
Achilles,
not
mean,
assume. I
Aaron
would not
Rodgers-
assume that.
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers is crazy. I'm still not even sure it's healed. I wouldn't use him as like the example, but I don't know. That's if I'm going to get one of these veteran guys, I want him to come in and be the guy right from the minute. Not I got to go rehab right now.
Jacoby Brissett's not going to be the guy.
I don't want him to be the guy, but I think he would at least be like his expectations wouldn't be.
You just want another guy in the room?
No, I want a guy who at least can.
I got to be
keep
honest
the
with
seat
you.
warm.
This is going to be a stunner to you. I'd rather have Bailey Zappi, the quarterback, next year than Jacoby
That's
Brissett.
fine too. I would be fine with that too.
You want to bring in Brissett as the backup? I'm fine with that.
I mean,
he's
okay,
a great.
we're talking about
he's a
it.
great
We're
guy.
talking
I don't
about
want him
it-
playing.
We're talking about an answer at quarterback.
I agree. I don't want him
Oh,
playing.
I
Someone
don't
who
think
could-
any of these guys are answers.
I don't think. I'm just
Kirk
looking.
Cousins is
You
I'm looking,
haven't
sir.
heard the list.
Keep going.
Tyrod Taylor.
No.
Can I change your mind with Sam Darnold?
No.
No.
Marcus Mariota.
No.
Jameis Winston.
No.
Drew Lock.
No.
Baker Mayfield.
Yes, I would take him as a 1 year bridge. Yes.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm with Paul on that one.
Gardner Jakes Minshew.
No.
No.
The second.
Oh, wait, no.
Teddy Bridgewater.
No, he's retiring.
Retiring.
Tyler Huntley.
Oh, no.
I
don't know.
You'd have to really change things up, but no. And no Josh Dobbs.
Joshua Dobbs.
Joshua Michael.
No.
Okay. All right.
So basically my line of thought would be I'm not interested in any of those guys, but my line of thought would be if I get stuck and I don't have anybody and I need to have a football season to evaluate my team, I would take one of those veteran guys like Cousins or even Mayfield, who you guys know I don't think a lot of.
No, I don't either, but I hear what you're saying on him. I don't know. I think I just...
I'm sorry, I have to get this
Go.
Taylor
Just
Mason
go.
email here because this is I'm going to try and contain my anger. On the Kelsey pass last week against the Bills, the pass you claimed was improvised is actually a practiced, admittedly rare play. Kelsey was a high school quarterback. Andy Reid wanted to use the play. It is an option play the Chiefs never used, but it was not taking a quote-unquote chance, just FYI. Hey, Taylor, it is a huge chance in a game when you're down 3 and you have the ball in absolute chip shot field goal territory with time left on the clock, and you can still go for a
So
touchdown.
I would counter Taylor just by asking a very simple question. If they practice it as much as you say.
No, he says
and it's
rare.
not a chance.
Yeah.
Why is it rare?
And why then?
My point is, if it's not a risk, you're claiming it's not a risk, and that they do it all the time, why would you never do it in the game?
Because it's
Because it's a
boneheaded,
risk.
and it's a risk, and you're throwing a lateral. By the way,
Yeah.
do you see the corner coming over and leaping in front of the ball? It almost gets tipped.
Oh, it's so close. I'd love to see the other
So
angle
has a
of it.
quarterback
Yes.
ever thrown an incomplete pass? Asking for a
I've
friend.
heard
I'd have
that's
to
happened
check.
before.
So do you think a guy who played quarterback in high school might be less or more accurate than an actual quarterback?
Well, we'd have to go back. What
Especially while running downfield and like 4 guys around.
What were those numbers you guys were referencing on the show on Thursday? The SDI, the SITs, the SATs.
That sounds like an Evan thing.
Got some stats.
Oh my
Which
God!
ones were you looking for?
The EPAs?
I don't know. It was something that immediately crawled up Paul's keister.
Dime percentage?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
No.
I don't remember
just-
having any of those this week. I usually remember my tirades.
This being the first
Oh.
game with head coaches that combine for 500 plus regular season wins.
That's actually kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. This is a pretty big coaching matchup here today.
I accidentally just hung up on Nick Babylove. Sorry, Nick. If you want to call back,
Ooh.
I meant to pull you up.
Why would you do
Instead, I
that?
hung up because I'm a
Now you're dead
I'm a
to him.
fiddlesticks. I'm a butterfingers. We'll get you on here as soon as you call back in. Yes, the coaching matchup of two coaches with more than 300 wins each, and blah blah blah. It's,
Blah.
That was what kind of crawled up your keister a little bit. You didn't like it.
Oh,
You
I
said
think
it meant
that-
nothing.
Oh, no, it's an SID. I think I said it was an SID stat. That's an
Yeah.
inside joke.
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, it's like sports information directors.
Oh, okay.
Like they compile voluminous notes that most of which real happy for you. But that's actually kind
Very-
of cool.
Very proud of you.
With
Yeah.
that
That's
pass,
very nice.
Bailey Zappi now has 46% of his. Like, what?
Do you hear
What is
those?
it?
You don't get the press box announcements?
No, but I
that's a perfect example. Is
yes,
what Mike just said.
I have heard them. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Nick, what's going on?
Hey, Hardy, I was on Thursday, and, Fred and I openly talked about you, so, you're welcome to stay, he said, forever. Are you leaving or are you staying?
Oh, well, that all remains to be seen. I haven't been offered the job for next year anyway. And
Lifetime contract.
There's a few moving parts, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Deuce is very depressed.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think you do an incredible job, brother.
Oh, thanks,
And
Nick.
I just wanted everybody to know that. As far as the whole situation, like I said, you run an incredible show. And I've been, Paul knows, I've been listening for years, and me and Fred were talking. They run the building like the CIA, and nobody really knows. But I'm predicting they're going to keep the guy because too many people got selective amnesia. And I'll finish with this.
Yeah.
Hardy and everybody there. Bottom line is the Steelers and the Giants and even the Chiefs. I can't stand them teams. And at least Bill destroyed, so-called overrated Mike Tomlin and the hated Steelers season last week. So the players are still playing for him, and that's all I got to say. Look, I love you guys, and just, Hardy, come back.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, the Steelers game last week, you did see obviously a couple of things that we talked about in the post game, and we haven't talked about since because we haven't been here. But just the whole idea of going down and scoring a touchdown on your opening drive, the fact that that was an anomaly for this season, but let's face it, they were doing things, especially in that first half last week, that we have not seen this year. And I don't think Nick is wrong in that these guys are playing for Bill right now. Now, there were times earlier this season when it looked like they were not. But in the first half against Pittsburgh, were they playing?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're playing for themselves, too,
I just
though.
I don't give the 400 points on the SATs for signing your name. I don't.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter to me.
No,
and I would have much rather had them play hard when the season wasn't over.
Before we get too far into that, because we're gonna be wrapping up here in a few more minutes, I want to thank the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Massachusetts, no matter how you choose to make them. Indoors, outdoors, scenic views, city vibes, solo, family style, whatever moves you, whatever the season. Plan your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com. Go to Jared, North Carolina, then we'll do the Sunday six-pack. Jared, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, I just wanted to bring up old PU argument about playing young players.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just think it's funny that Jennings is like the perfect example of they held him out, and now he's playing well, and everybody's like, oh, well, maybe we should keep him a little longer. I thought it was kind of an interesting situation.
I think it's a good example of
we
what I used
signed-
to rail against. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we signed Van Noy, and he's good, but he's not going to make a difference in the end. I mean,
Yeah, 21. I think didn't Jennings miss 21? I think he missed that season.
But I just think that the point is that instead of playing a young guy, they're always looking to get a veteran and not necessarily embracing the youth. And I think that's part of the reason why they're in the situation they are.
You got to embrace the youths.
And now you get a guy who has shown you some value.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's going to be a free agent, so who knows if he's going to be back. Now, maybe they can get him back. He hasn't done much, so I don't think he's going to command a big salary in the open market. So maybe you get him back if you want him back. But I would rather have had him play on that rookie contract for a couple of years than, play for 12 games on the rookie contract is basically what you're getting out of him.
Well, I mean, just real quick, it was funny on him when we've talked about it, but, at Alabama, this is what he did. He's a big, stout run defender on the edge that stands up, and then he got here that first year. They were playing him off the ball. He looked kind of lost, and, I mean, that's kind of not all that surprising to me that he's looked pretty good, but, again, like, what impact does he make in the pass game? That's what is where you make your money, and that's what they need out of him today.
All right, six-pack time. Let's do it.
This is the Sunday six-pack, so kick back and listen to my position. I'm itching to get the picks back. You better bring a big stack. Get it mixed, Jack. I came to win it, yeah, this is the Sunday six-pack.
All right, what happened last week, and where do we stand on the season?
I don't know.
Hardy went 3-3, Paul 2-4, Mike 1-5.
Ooh.
Season totals are Mike 40-29-5, Hardy 38-31-5, Paul 32-37-5.
Smelling you.
Things are getting interestinger and interestinger.
They really, really are. Okay, so we have 6 games to pick today, starting with
the 1 p.m. 5-8 New York Jets at the 9-4 Miami Dolphins. Miami minus 9.5.
I'm going to take the Jets in this one. I don't think they'll win, but I think they'll keep it a little bit closer than 9.5.
I'm going to take the points as well. Just too many injuries for Miami to just flippantly say they're going to beat someone by double digits.
I agree with you both, but you know me. The action is the juice, and I hate laying anything close to double digits, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Moving on to the 4 p.m. games, the 10-3 San Francisco 49ers at the 3-10 Arizona Cardinals. San Francisco minus 12.
Now, I have no such reservations in this game. I will take the Niners. Noiners.
Yeah, I really hate to do it, but San Francisco just looks so good, and there's nothing about Arizona that makes me think they're going to stay within 2 touchdowns. I, too, will take the 49ers.
Yeah, me too. I can't do it. San Francisco.
The 10-3 Dallas Cowboys at the 7-6 Buffalo Bills. Buffalo minus 2.
Yeah, is Buffalo feeling anything right now?
I don't know. That's what I think the big question is. Are they going to kick into gear and make a push?
The answer is no. I'm taking the Cowboys.
I'm going to make it interesting. I'm going to take Buffalo.
Yeah, I like Buffalo in this game. I think there's something to be said when the 11th seed in the AFC is favored over the 2nd seed in the NFC. I'll take Buffalo.
Sunday Night Football, the 10-3 Baltimore Ravens at the 8-5 Jacksonville Jaguars. Baltimore minus 3.
Oh, that I'm taking Baltimore all day on this one.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Danny.
Yeah, I think that Trevor Lawrence is not healthy, so I'm going to take the Ravens as well.
I don't understand this line. This is, the Bills Cowboys line is a little weird. This one seems even weirder. I'll lay those 3 points, no problem.
I mean, you taking Jacksonville?
No, I'm laying the 3, meaning I'm taking the Ravens with Paul.
I'll try my best.
Just so you know, this is why there's discrepancies every week.
Monday Night Football, the 10-3 Philadelphia Eagles at the 6-7 Seattle Seahawks. Philadelphia minus 3.5.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna take. Is
this mine?
Sorry, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, this one's tricky. I think you could get 2 backup quarterbacks again. A lot of the national games featuring matchups of backup quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts was downgraded to questionable today. However, I'm going to take the Eagles in a bounce back game.
Yeah, every week I think the Eagles are going to play better than they do. Seahawks at home. Give me Seattle.
Oh, I was going to do that.
Well, you still can.
I'm gonna take Seattle at home too.
You have free will.
I'm trying to make these interesting. I don't want to,
And finally, the 8-5 Kansas City Chiefs at the 3-10 New England Patriots. Kansas City minus 8.5.
I will make this double interesting for you. Not only am I taking the Patriots, you can take those 8.5 points and stick them, and that way I get a double win if the Patriots win outright. But just for the purposes of math, I'll take the 8.5. Give me the Patriots.
I wish I could make it interesting. I'm going to go Patriots too. I think Kansas City wins, but I think the Patriots make it close and interesting. It's going to be something like low 20s to high teens.
Oh, by the way, I have 21-14 Patriots.
Yeah, I'm like 22-18, something like that.
I guess I'll be the lone wolf here. I think Kansas City needs this game, and they are the better team. They're the more desperate team. And I think they win this game going away. I'll say 27-10, Kansas City.
Paulie Paul laying the 8.
That's not fun. But do they coach really well? Do they?
But Bill will outcoach Andy Reid. Otherwise, it would have been 47-10.
Now you're talking sense. Finally, thank you, Dom Sausage, official steak tip of the New England Patriots. Order them online for nationwide delivery at domsausage.com. Use promo code PATS15. That's PATS15 for 15% off. Thank you, Doms.
They're really good. The Doms, the whole family. The Doms family. Go get some. They're amazing.
I'm just a straight up steak tip guy. I know they do the sausage and all
They'll
that
do
stuff.
it all, but if you just need the tips, it's great.
That's all I want. That's all I want. And I want a Patriots win. So let's see if we can get it. Thank you all for listening and watching. We're going to be back. Hope you'll join us for the Patriots Pregame Show immediately following today's contest between the Pats and Chiefs here at Gillette Stadium.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.